All right, welcome back to the Jiu-Jitsu Mindset. I'm with the one and only Professor Chris Burns, who is
Mhm.
healing his elbow through electromagnetic. And for those of you watching on YouTube, it's somewhere between Young Frankenstein and The Hand with Michael Caine. So
Oh,
it
more
could
like
be
the movie
he.
Idle Hands. Like records.
So
You
yeah,
know
no,
what?
the electromagnetic therapy is having him flip me off right now. For those of you who can't see it, those of you on the audio, please go check the video. It could be submission coffee, of course, still unclassified as a performance enhancing drug, and I can see right now Professor Chris is taking his shot of it right now. I we
Performance.
had such a great conversation, and I had 12 more hours of questions, and Professor Chris was willing to spend another session with me. But today we're going to take a philosophical bent and talk about like a framework of thinking about your life that's important to both he and I. We've read a lot of the same books and perhaps consumed a lot of the same information. So we have a vocabulary that's similar. And as we go along, I hope that you learn some new ways of thinking about your life. And that's my hope for this. And perhaps it'll just give you some new language for how you already think about that. So, Professor Chris, thank you for spending more time with me.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. There we go. All right, listen.
Juxtaposition.
The good. Oh, okay. The vocabulary words. Okay. Schistosomiasis.
Radial shifts. I just say big things make me smart.
Excellent. Yeah, the more syllables, the smarter you look. There's two ways about that.
There's no
We
way of making me look smart.
we are going to talk about something that's important to both of us, and it's a framework called the hero's journey. And so, what give us an introduction to what we're going to talk about today? So, the hero's journey is what?
The hero's journey is Joseph Campbell is an old man sitting by a cauldron of soup
Mhm.
telling you stories. I had long-winded story. I grew up in the South, and the South is extremely religious. At least when I was a kid, it was much more religion, and it was straight Christianity and the 30 offshoots of Christianity.
Mhm.
So you could be a Baptist or a Presbyterian or a this or a that, but we hate you, but we like you, but we hate you. It's terrible. Every single religion, every single myth, all of these things I found in a very young stage of my life to be one solid thing.
Yeah.
So being able to view everyone's differences as a mono myth
Mhm.
saved my ass
Okay.
from just becoming like uh, pure golf in a mall.
Okay.
Yes, like angry teenage angst got replaced with an infinite curiosity of everyone else's viewpoint of the world.
Right.
So Joseph Campbell saved me from a lot of angst, a lot of needless angst and judgment. I enjoyed the hero's journey and the power of myth way too young, and I've
Okay.
never been able to turn back.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you even know those times.
Yeah.
So like that was a first bonding moment between me and my wife because when we were talking about it, our first meeting was more like a business merger. Like I don't know, name your favorite movies, right? Name your favorite albums, right? What was the last time you traveled? Are you
Hmm.
comfortable traveling? It was a whole merger thing.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was like red flag here, but when we both hit Joseph Campbell, we're like, oh, things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everything is one thing. Oh, okay, cool. Um, the hero's journey is a breakdown of storytelling, and I think it's the perfect example of the monomyth. So for lack of a better term, because I'm sure there's a cooler way of saying it, but how we have this call to adventure in our life, and some of us say, "Fuck it, let's die,"
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
some of us go, "No, I've got bills to pay." So I have a lot of respect for the bills to pay kind of people. They've got responsibilities, but I'm also a fucking let's die kind of guy.
Indeed.
So I've taken multiple calls to adventure, and I'm on a very interesting one through jujitsu right now.
So let me just paraphrase back a little bit of what you're saying and tell me if I'm following you correctly. Because when you use the term monomyth, let me restate how I hear that, and then you tell me if it's accurate or not accurate. So my I love the fact that you came to Joseph Campbell young. I came to Joseph Campbell as a teenager myself, and the hero with the thousand, or the hero with the thousand faces, the power of myth. Um, Took me down a particular point of view. And so when you say monomyth, what I hear is that all the world is trying to figure out how to interpret the human experience. And that interpretation could have cultural inflections. Somebody in Borneo, Jakarta, Manhattan, LA, Tokyo could have a local inflection of a story that's universal. So when I hear you say that, I hear, hey, the structure of a human being's life is generally the same in a certain way, but how we might describe it, how where we might put emphasis could be different. And so as you talk about 30 different flavors of Christianity, but all had a similar inflection, that then extended for you outside of your local community and connected you to the world. So how close am I in what, your
Nailed it.
introduction? Okay. All right.
Nailed it. The whole idea of all these multiple religions and viewpoints of the world is still boiled down to the idea of community. So when you have people that want to go to church, it's the same as people that want to go to jujitsu. It's
Hmm.
not about what we're doing there. It's about the community we're building while doing it.
Right.
And we still say the same things. We just say it in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like if you do this, you're going to hell. If you do this, you're disqualified.
Right. Right.
It's the
Oh,
same
nice.
way. Yeah, it's the same way of looking at the world. And for me, that was the unity that I strived for from day one because I grew up in Atlanta and I was very white.
Hmm.
And
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of white friends. I had a couple white friends here and there, but then like there's this chunk of life, it's Australia, and Australia is super white. But finding unity between races, unity between religions, unity between belief systems
Sure.
and politics.
Hmm.
Ew, oh my God. Everyone has the same, like, well, almost I'd say like the majority have the same kind of viewpoint. Like, I want to feed my family. I want them to be warm, dry, and safe. You know, like I want that soup by the
Yeah.
fire. I want the community to look after each other. Everyone's looking for that in their own way. And just the idea of that monomyth saved me from feeling inclusive and
Right.
saying like my tribe's better than your tribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's a full Joe Strummer jam fest. You know, like it should be new trash city all day long. You
Right.
know, we all get together, we're all eating crawfish. It's one whole thing.
Yeah. Well said.
It's you got
Yeah, and I
you
think
got you
like for those of you, if this conversation intrigues you and you or want to learn more about the idea, there's 6 hours of conversation between Joseph Campbell and a guy named Bill Moyers who will be unfamiliar to anybody unless you're my age or older. But
in a heavily
you know,
highlighted book too. Want me to grab
and
it?
the books are amazing, and we'll bring them out for people to see. But he is often he spends a lot of time in sort of religious and spiritual similarities. But that led me to other mythologists who taught me things that like Cinderella. Like Cinderella is told all around the planet with different cultural inflections, but the identical story, which to me was fascinating because like the Grimm fairy tales is where a lot of us as kids might have heard Hansel and Gretel or whatever. And then Disney took it and did its version of it, cleaned it up, made it friendlier, but China has the same stories and all these other things. And what fascinated me about that was the lack of clarity. Did they spring up independently? Like the human experience led to the same stories, or did they travel around the world? And I'm of the opinion they spring up independently in that as a species, the tools we have as a human being lead us to see or experience our life, each other in similar ways. And so you can have a cultural inflection of how you build community, love community, but you know, at the end of the day, underneath it all is this common thing. So okay, so when I'm following you when you say monomyth, and then I interrupted you right as you're going to say there's a call to adventure. So maybe we start there again.
Just following my bliss.
Yes.
So I didn't quite catch on to that until I was older. I didn't read that one, but
Yeah.
the whole idea of these things just springing up from existence has always appealed to me because I've always felt insanely connected and disconnected at the same time.
That's
So
interesting.
like I don't feel like I belong ever anywhere I should, but I think that it goes back to therapy stuff about being adopted
Right.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I never went to therapy about the adoption. I went to therapy about an abusive relationship.
Hmm.
And part of that therapy was the schema therapy for perfect ideal parenting.
Hmm.
So I did the ideal parenting schema. And going through that, I'm sitting there finding out that you have a physical reaction to not being around the birth mother.
Yeah.
And you are constantly in this fight or flight mode. This is like science.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there like, why I hate fucking everyone. Because I feel insanely connected,
Yeah.
like I can have empathy on the deepest level to a complete
Hmm.
because I am a complete, and I can feel the same way at the highest level for this millionaire who's dealing with his like millions of dollar deals that, oh God, I'm stressed. Like, yeah, I can see how you'd be stressed.
Right.
And between the two of them, I'm sitting there going like, I'm neither of you and I don't belong here. So feeling like an alien forever has kept me on the outskirts of being part of a community. And I think that's what's led me into all these weird hero's journey. Like,
Yeah.
I don't quite belong here, so I'm going to try and find where I belong. So, given a chance, given an opportunity, and this is me coming straight from therapy, thinking about Joseph Campbell
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
and going like, maybe that's why I just started walking one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
literally put on a pair of shoes and walked down I-95. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to start walking and see what happens for the rest of my life. Who does that?
Right. Right.
Weird people who have disconnection from reality. I remember this girl that knew me was driving past on the freeway and goes, "Is that Chris?" And she literally did a loop and goes, "Do you need a lift?" I'm like, "No." "Where are you going?" "I don't know."
Right.
I ended up staying at her house for like a week. Like my version of the hero's journey has always been disassociated and trying to find my home.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So when I am offered the chance for a call to adventure, I've always taken it. I didn't find my bliss, which is like I'm saying words that some people that are listening to this are like, "What the fuck's he talking about?"
Right. Right.
If you read these books, it makes you'll make it clearer in a sec. I didn't know what my path was, my bliss was, and my bliss can change any day now. And I keep trying to explain that to people. Like I might want to make burgers on the beach one day,
Right.
as long as I'm happy. That's my bliss.
Right.
Jiu-Jitsu and the sharing of this knowledge and the preservation of this art
Hmm.
has been the path that I chose. And that path got weird. And that was like the first ever hero's journey for me, where I was like, this is more than just a call to adventure. This is my pathway to bliss. And I'm going to
Yes.
follow my bliss and see how this goes.
Right.
And I have come back with booms, man. This whole thing has been not just a strange thing where I come back having learned a valuable, weird lesson.
Right.
I've come back with something bigger than me, and now I'm getting to share it, and now I'm being rewarded in these ways that I've never felt. Like I have a family now. Like that's insane.
Hmm.
Like that, the journey that I took started me building a family,
Yeah.
and now I have a family. And I feel like I have somewhere that I belong in a way that I've never felt. And I'm not diminishing my parents that adopted me. I always felt love,
Sure.
but belong. I've never had blood
Yeah. Yeah.
standing next to me, and now I have blood staring me
Yes.
in the
That's right.
mirror every day,
Yeah.
going like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm insane." I'm like, "I am too. It's being weird. You
Yeah.
want to go fight in the ocean? Yes."
Yes. Yes.
Ah,
Well,
best
that's a
feeling I've ever had in
beautiful
my life.
biblical moment for me in the first in Genesis where uh, as Eve comes from Adam, and he says, "You are bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh." And as my children, these are bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. It's not theoretical. Are they with
Yeah.
me? It is in the flesh that they are there. And this term, for those who may be hearing it for the first time, following your bliss is in alignment with, first of all, you have to understand who you are, and then you have to understand what you deeply, truly want. That's not just your responsibilities. And then find a certain harmony where your responsibilities, what you really are meant to do, start to come together. And for me, we talk about vicious cycles often, particularly in the United States. We have a vicious cycle in the health system, and we have a vicious cycle in the food system. But there's such a thing as a virtuous cycle. So if you're following your bliss and you know who you are and you know where you want to go and you can overlay discipline, then that will take you in a way in which you'll find prosperity and a certain peace. And even if you feel disconnected, you'll feel moments of connections, because it's never just one thing. Each moment dies to the next. So in the hero's journey, the call to adventure, you've had many calls to adventure, but we're going to limit it to jujitsu today. So maybe we could take your call to adventure as it relates to jujitsu and get on this multi-step,
Yeah.
faceted
You
road.
get the 12 step cycle. I love that. My wife is reading a book on writing and using the 12 step cycle, like the same as George Lucas used
Yes.
for Star Wars. And
Yes.
I love that. I love that we can start to create stories and share that. That's the coolest thing, is that we can keep inventing stories that are still new, but they're not new. They're not
Exactly.
new at
No.
all. No. And that's, I don't know. There's something comforting about that for me. Like going back to watch your old favorite TV show.
Yeah.
I feel like when I hear a story that resonates in a certain way, like that wasn't here,
Yeah.
like, I get it. Like when you watch Terrifier for the first time. So that's a true hero's journey.
Well, and that's an equivalent to the local inflection of a myth in my mind. Like throughout
Yeah.
history, there are there the each time period has its own ups and downs, its
Yeah.
own right, and that places these structures in a different set of tensions, and out of those tensions come a new way to say the same story, even though underneath the,
Boogeyman.
yeah, right, all the boogeyman, exactly. We can take that all the way back to, we could go from Baba Yaga,
Handful of
whatever it
men.
is, back to, yes, back to Gilgamesh, right? I mean,
The original, like the dragon sitting on the gold. Like, and
yes, right.
I'm a big fan of horror. I love horror because it's the closest thing to, it's like tearing life from the jaws of death. It's like
Mm.
sex. Like that's why they're so like in together, like sex and death. You
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
a horror movie,
yes,
kiss the girl, that kind of thing.
right,
It's intense on a level that you don't get in like, well, I got to pay taxes, I got to do the dishes.
right.
Like that threat of death isn't necessarily there for everyone these days, especially in Western cultures. Like we have to concentrate. So that's why I love movies like Terrifier,
Yeah.
because it's not just that spooky, goofy story. Like it was hardcore, dude. That movie was intense. And I really respect when something goes 100 fucking percent.
Right, right.
I always respect it. I love a good horror movie, but if I wanted horror, I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Because my wife really likes Midsummer. And like Midsummer's like 3 hours of girl almost crying. I love it. And it's good. It's
Mhm.
folk horror. It's cool. And like I'm
Right.
down for that. But oh my God. Like
Yeah.
when Terrifier is sawing a woman in half, I'm like, that's what horror is supposed to be, life and death. And it's one big fuck you.
Well, so uh, my daughter's due to have a baby on Monday, and the birth into the world, right? In terms of the call to adventure, begins with you're a water,
Horror.
you're a waterborne entity in the world. You're not breathing oxygen. You're basically, a fish-like creature living in the safest place you can be. And then you transition to becoming an air-breathing creature, and that can kill you. And so the threat of death is present from moment one. And and then waiting for you on the other end of your adventure is your last breath. and you're in between the first one and the last one. And lots of spiritual traditions say, well, you get a certain number of breaths, so breathe
Yeah.
slowly, because it's by the time you're out, you're out. But that call to adventure for all of us starts with something that has the taste of death in it, because as we know,
Failure.
yeah, yeah, talk about going 100%.
Certain death. Ah, dude, there's this just goes back to like the beginning for me, but like fake fireplaces and fake plants,
Sure.
that kind of stuff make me so weirdly uncomfortable. Like dude, it's air conditioned nightmare for me. Every time I'm sitting there with a fake plant and a fake fireplace, I'm like, this is not real, and I don't want to be here.
Yeah,
I need that visceral feeling.
yeah,
I
yeah.
need connection. I
Sure.
want human connection. I want physical nature connection. I'm not a hippie at all. At all. I love soap. I was it? I make and I sell soap.
Yes,
I
right. Yeah, Tyler Durden, very
I
good.
want the real more than I want comfort, you
Yes,
know? So I think that's why the call to adventure, like the first I wrote them down. The
yes,
status quo. Yeah, the status quo. You have to break the status quo with the call to adventure. So the invitation to the adventure for me, the very last one, and I'm not gonna put any names in places because I don't want to shine light on it
okay,
as much as I don't want to diminish it.
okay.
So it's just there. I had an opportunity to move to the other side of the world and build an academy with
Hmm.
someone I greatly respect. Id still respect. But the idea was to start something bigger than myself for something that I genuinely and truly respect.
Right,
And that was oh, this could end bad. This could end very bad.
right.
You gonna do it? Yes. Yes, I'm going to do it. Like this could end so bad. And it did, but it did. So that was the very first step for me. This call to this adventure was take your family, go all the way to the other side of the world and like live in a hole in the desert to try and achieve this insurmountable goal
Okay.
because no one's ever been able to achieve it. And I've been given this opportunity to try and do something really, really cool. Whoa. Okay. I want to talk with my wife about that. And she's as weird as me. And that's how we met was that we just go places and do things. Like, well,
Hmm.
what's the point of living if you're not getting weird with it?
Right.
Like this is the girl that was like, I'm gonna go to college. Like, how? I don't know, I'm gonna do it.
Hmm.
She did it all herself. And she ended up coming over to Melbourne and working in a studio over in Melbourne that was close to the gym that I was working in. And she came into the gym and was like, ooh, I'm gonna breed with that. Literally how she did. I'm gonna make a baby out of that. Make a baby. She's not fucking around, man. The whole idea for her was like, all right, how big is this to you? Because if this is super big, let's do it. Because this is huge, but I'm
Right.
up for it. And
Okay.
she took a shot. We did it and we went over there. And within like the first few months, she didn't have a visa. She had to go back to Canada to
Mm.
renew the Canadian visa, or she would have to go to Italy. So Canada's a little closer. So she had to go over to Canada and work while in Canada. And I stayed there and I just plowed through and I kept working, trying to build this thing that was not happening. It
Okay.
was just not going the way that I wanted it to go.
Okay.
The idea was to build a Hickson Gracie Academy, like for Hickson Gracie. It's like gonna do Hickson Gracie, and I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm doing it right. We're
Right.
gonna get the man involved. I'm not just gonna wear the patch. I
Hmm.
want to go out there and build a curriculum with him. And I started doing regular private lessons, not just like, oh, I do it private. No, regular. Like we're going to be working on this. And it wasn't me telling him what we're going to be doing because I'm going in there with my ears and my heart open, going like,
Right.
you lead the way, sir, but I've got a book of questions and these questions are in a very specific order and I
Right.
want to put them into the classes. And he just tolerates the shit,
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to show me a thing. I'm like, that's amazing. I love this. The concept is so cool. What happens if they punch you? He's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okie dokie. So he like, I was on a very specific path right out the gate. And there was a lot of drama in that. Like, I don't know if you know this, but jujitsu has a lot of political drama.
So I understand.
If some person
Yeah.
doesn't like another person, that person's not allowed to see this person. This person can't talk to this person. I'm friends with them, but you're not friends with them because I'm friends with them.
Right. Right.
I'm not from this planet. I don't belong here. I don't have a side, man. I'm going to do what's right by the person and the thing that I respect.
Right.
So if that person's not jamming with it, like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm going to continue this process. I'm going to follow this path. If you're not on the path, sorry, it's path. Like
Yeah.
I'm still happy to be your friend, but if you're not allowed to be friends with me because your friend's not friends with me, that's some high school shit, man. I'm
Without a
40.
doubt. So the hero's journey in principle has a call to an adventure, and your hero's journey when we're talking about jujitsu, this particular you've had many journeys I appreciate, but this particular one came leave your familiar, break the status quo of your life, endanger the comfort of your relationship because you're going to move another person. You're going to force your journey on her in a sense, which could create strife and, his own threat of a certain type of death, the death of,
Yes.
right? I mean,
That woman does not need to be living in the desert where there's no Ubers.
yeah, yeah,
She was an absolute saint putting up with that. Like she went out there, the whole Canada thing happened, and then she got to come back because she was okay to come back.
right, right,
So what we thought is there's security in this. Like we're here, there's a contract, there's security, we're doing this.
sure,
Let's have a kid.
yeah,
So I went over to Canada and I knocked her up. It's like, all right, cool. So you're just gonna sit here in this basement and you're gonna grow a baby. I'll be over there working. She's like, let's do this.
okay,
She did it. And then she came over to Arizona and gave birth.
wow,
So now the kid was conceived in Canada, born in born in America. He's got like the Infinity Gauntlet
mhm,
passport now. The Italian kid. Now he's on a plane within like the first 2 weeks going to Hawaii. The idea of me going over there and taking the chance of like the relationship, man, this is important. The relationship's more important than the job. For me,
sure,
it
yeah, of
is.
course, yeah,
So like I would rather be in that relationship than have that job.
right,
So if that had failed, I would have just like, sorry, you gotta go. She's unhappy. I don't want her to be unhappy.
right,
I do whatever I could to keep her happy.
yeah,
Having the kid over in America, I don't know if anybody else knows this, but your child is born in debt. Like there was a bill sent to my son. That's not normal.
I had that's new. I don't know what that even
System.
is.
No, neither do I. He was born into owing $2,000. Like the bill had his name on it. I was like, that's the most American shit I've ever seen. Because I'm American, whether I like it or not. Like
Right,
I've spent chunks of life between Australia and America. Those are the two things that I am.
right,
That's me.
yeah,
Sorry. It's this weird thing where in America, I I don't want to put it down because it's such a tightly wound place right now, but the system has a lot to be desired.
yeah.
About
But
like the idea of
yeah,
socializing there.
yeah. But this is so the hero encounters obstacles. I mean, that is part of the
There was
journey
quite a
here.
few obstacles.
And
Most of
these
them
are
were medical bills.
with yes, well, yeah. As a person whose family had a bankruptcy due to medical issues,
Mm,
I feel your pain. But let's let's go from step one, the call to adventure. What happens next on the hero's adventure for
the
both you and in
assistance,
principle? Tell me that.
assistance, the need of help, and finding someone wise. So, internet's gonna love this. Hickson,
Yeah,
sorry. So just having him in my corner and kind of leading the way and
yeah,
having arguments with the person that brought me out. It was a big falling out for me. And
sure.
just having Hickson in my corner going like, it's cool, man. You're doing you.
Right, right.
You do you. It doesn't because I straight up said, like, yeah, I don't think this is working out with the guy that I came out here to build the thing with. Are you okay with me continuing to build this with you? And he was like,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah,
Like, it didn't even take a second to think. I was like, yes, of course, you idiots. Like,
yeah,
this isn't about building some kind of giant business thing for someone else. Like, I, I I'm trying to learn and process the way he teaches. That was my big takeaway, and less about here's an organization of moves, and it was more about here's the concepts that hold whatever moves you want to teach together. And having him kind of guide me through that was the boon unto itself. for
Yeah.
me. Like that was the treasure that I got to take away is his time and his knowledge and his passion.
Right.
But having him help me in other ways, like, yeah, man, the other guy's going to be fine. He's rich. Like he doesn't care.
Right.
Like you keep doing you keep following this path. You're definitely passionate. This is not him talking, by the way. This
I get
him
it.
kind of, yeah, you just keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. No, 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 come back. You're like, you don't have to go.
So in the hero's journey, you have like an opportunity for adventure. You heed the call, you go out on your adventure. And then along this journey, you encounter a mentor, a teacher, assistants. And one of the things that I'm curious about with your adventure when Hickson presents himself to you is
He's nebulous. It's,
so
it's
would you
still,
have always had the excuse what did I say? Did I say something wrong?
no, I was making a joke. It's like, it presents itself. And then, I mean, himself. No, it's
Himself,
it's-
yes, himself.
he's nebulous.
But would you have always had the wisdom to recognize him, or did the mentor present himself at the time that you needed the mentor? Or in the earlier version of yourself, might you have rejected what would have changed your hero's journey? Or was it just so overwhelming that, like, well, of course, I wouldn't have to think about it. Of course, I would have accepted that. I'm just curious if you could have screwed it up at a younger age, a different
Oh, no,
person.
I couldn't.
Yeah,
At a younger age, I definitely would have screwed it up. I wouldn't have known
yeah,
the difference between shit and shagnola.
right.
So, because everyone, I'm lucky to have suffered so many injuries and losses on the way to this
Yeah,
opportunity to understand how important it is. Because you got jackasses out there that don't understand what he's handing you is cheap,
right,
priceless. Like this is a life's work.
right.
And the people I was working with, they didn't see that.
Mhm.
They saw it more as like, if we can associate the name and the badge, it just elevates our level.
Yeah,
Not the name of the badge is.
yes,
And I think that was the big takeaway for me. And that's also like the trials, like the departure and trials part.
yeah,
Because the departure is me breaking away from the people that brought me out there, but staying there.
okay,
So I was there for a very long chunk working with these specific people to build their dream, which I
right,
thought was a true dream,
right,
but it was their dream.
right.
And
Yes, yeah,
I was I'm a little heartbroken about that to this day, like
yeah,
kind of being deceived.
yeah,
And like, okay, I get it. You didn't straight out say it, but you said it. And I should have been listening a little harder.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
this is all about me, not about him. What can I get from him to help me? It was a thing for me where, okay, I'll cut ties, but I won't cut ties. And I've suffered enough to get to this point. It would be silly to back down.
right.
Like I'm going to stay here and I'll do what I can with what I've got, but I'm going to give every ounce of energy to Hickson. And I'm
Sure.
going to take as much time as he is willing to share with me.
Yeah,
Right. If I had been any younger, if I had been any, more brash in the idea of thinking that I know what I'm doing,
yeah, yeah,
like you have to hit a point where you are open to actually wanting to be wrong, right? So the people I was working with, they didn't want that. They wanted whatever's cool. Whatever's cool right now is going to get people in the door. Let's get the cool thing. And the cool
sure.
thing is the evolution that you get to. I'm fine with the not evolution. I'm fine with
Right, right.
this very specific version and how I want to convey it.
Yeah,
There's no version of me that wants to know how to deal with headquarters or leg drag passes.
right, right.
I'm okay. I want to know what I'm supposed to do when they grab the ankles. How do I kick them? Oh, we're not allowed to kick. Me. Yeah, yeah, we are. There's no rules. I don't want your imaginary rules for a game that you can sell more people. I want to preserve a
Right,
martial art that was like, it was full, it was rounded. The idea of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was not just like, here's a cool game that we can sell. It became a cool game that you can sell.
right,
It was originally a full system of learning. Like it was striking, it was
right.
grappling, it was
Sure.
standing around. It was all of the things,
Hmm.
and it got specialized in certain areas for certain things. my goal with Hickson was essentially to start by learning self-defense and refining the original syllabus. What
Right.
I found underneath all of that was this underlying current of what Hickson is teaching is not just the moves.
Yes.
It was this, what is martial arts? What is
Yeah.
combat? What is balance? What is the metaphor you want to
Sure.
put into its place?
Yeah.
I found that because I cut ties. I made a departure. And like it was huge for me. And I recognized it all day one. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna suffer really hard for this. I gotta give up like a childhood hero to gain this thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give up comfort because I don't know how you do it. The desert is shit. Like people are born in the desert. I love the desert. I am in the desert. We get it. You just have fun. I'm gonna go to the ocean now. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
And I realized that in the first year. The first year of me being in the desert, there's a line from King of the Hill that sums it up for me.
Uh-huh.
This is man's monument to airships. Like, no, nothing could ever live here. Let's build a city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Talk about well, I mean, Las Vegas and in the
Oh,
Phoenix is it? But so on this hero's journey, you get a call to action. You break from your status quo. You go out. You find the teacher. You have the wisdom to recognize it as wisdom, as something that you can incorporate past your own ego. You sublimate your ego to the discipline of taking instruction. You recognize it for the preciousness. You recognize the difference between somebody who takes something like the value is the emblem versus the value of what's behind the emblem. The notion here is that it's not about the title, it's about, what got you to the title, in my opinion. And so when you
I had
take
been any
that,
younger.
yeah, you
Man,
wouldn't
I would have like running
you
home.
could have
I would have been like, oh crap, I can't do this. Like, how am I supposed to support a family? I've got a baby coming. So much was going down in my head, but it it was still there. I go like, no, this is important. You got to do the
yeah, you
important
stayed
thing.
you
You got to
stayed the
suffer for
course.
the important.
Yeah.
You got to stay the course. And like, I had so many talks with my wife about that, and she was so forgiving because she understands how passionate I am about this course.
Right.
Because I've always wanted to do this one thing. I wanted to do this version of this one thing. And she honestly, I think, fell in love with me because of my passion,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
because of this train wreck that I am. She was like, you are insane. Like, I like how you are going to do this. I think that's why I was able to do it is by having such a forgiving partner that understood how important it was to me. And if I had done this in a different stage of my life, it never would have worked
Right.
because at other stages in my life, I was not the right person at the right time, and I had different things that I had to take care of.
So what
So I had
happens next? We go. What's step three? So we have
well, technically, we're on
arrived.
step 5. We
Excuse
had
me.
the
All right, get me
trials
to step.
already.
Okay, we're in trials already. Well, just recap them for me. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay,
So we
recap. We had the call to adventure, taking the gig.
very
The
good.
assistants, Hickson, and also Joseph and a couple other people
Okay.
were definitely assistants along the
Okay.
way. There weren't a lot of people helping, but there were people that were helping. Like,
Okay.
I couldn't do the job alone. And I remember complaining to him, like, I need somebody to help me teach because I had already like broken a rib.
Sure.
Being the only instructor, that's not cool.
Right. Right.
And I'm teaching something that no one else knows because they're in there just whistling around and
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
shit. I need somebody to help me teach. So I made a call to a couple people, and one of them was like, let's get weird. Let's do this. That
Mhm.
sounds cool. And then the others were very respectful. Like, no, I have a family and a life. I have my own bliss. Thank you.
Yes. Right. Right. Right.
And
Yes. Yes. Yes.
they're all doing wonderful for themselves. I'm so glad they didn't suffer with me. So we have the assistants, and the big assistance was Hickson.
Right.
The next one was departure. The
Okay.
departure
Oh
technically
yes.
would be assistance in the journey, but then the departure to the adventure.
Okay.
The departure to the adventure was during the adventure for me because
Okay.
it wasn't a build up that got me to the departure. It was a build up in I'm in the adventure, and now the
Right.
departure was adventure within the adventure. Does that make sense?
It does. And so,
I don't want to
so
get
you
too
thought you were going
convoluted.
to do one thing. You go out, you get
Yeah.
instruction, and then it turns out that wasn't the thing you were there to do. Instead,
No.
you have to have a certain nimbleness, a certain flexibility of point of view that doesn't force things. And I would imagine that Hickson's guidance like helped you resolve that this isn't really, this isn't right. And if the more time I spend doing something that's not right isn't going to be good for anybody. So then you depart from that road. And then that from that departure,
Which is weird.
right? That's
Yeah,
hard
I
and
guess I
and
had to
then
say
tough.
I
Yeah,
was on the road. Just
you
I
thought you
can't
were?
depart from the road because I literally live on that road now, and I'm
Right. And
stuck
you're a
on that road.
100% guy. So you came
Dude,
into it
it's
100% and then you had to switch.
I dropped everything. I
Yeah.
dropped everything. I got rid of everything I owned. I got on the plane. Like literally just threw out everything. I think we made 3 no, 2 boxes. We made 2 boxes of the most important things. We just took pictures of all the other stuff.
Nice.
Because I think my wife was watching Maria Kondo or something. And like, does it spark joy?
Mhm, mhm.
And I was
Yeah.
like, nothing sparks joy for me. Like, you
Right,
want to
right.
get rid of this t-shirt? Damn it, I love that shirt. So I would take a photo of something that I really like, but I gave away all my books, all my belongings, all my weapons. Every time I leave a country, I have to give up all of my illegal belongings, and that's the big loss for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So all the handcuffs, all the swords, all the weird stuff. So it became the trials. So the trials was me trying to figure out how do I still live
Mm,
here? How do I
yeah.
work within these parameters? How do I deal with these people who constantly are not happy with me
Yeah,
and they're trying to put me in their box?
yeah.
Because that was the most uncomfortable thing for me because I really looked up to the other guy's work when I was younger
Right?
and I had no friends. I had nothing. So I would kind of project that work as
Yeah.
friendship. Like every time I
Yeah.
would enjoy the work, I would enjoy like I'm not alone. And then having that guy not like me was
Mm,
like, oh,
yeah, yeah.
so, oh man.
Yeah.
And there's no version of me that's gonna try and be a different person for you to like me. I
Right.
know at least that much about myself to go and like, all right, I guess that one's over. You
Yeah.
know, like what are you gonna do?
Right.
Like I'm not gonna not be me.
Right, right.
There's parameters like shoes and shirts. You know, like I understand a social contract, but I'm not going to make myself not like myself to
Right.
make you happy. That's healthy. That's normal. And that's called boundary.
Right, right.
So I'm very lucky that I went to therapy before this job where
Yes.
I had no boundaries. I had no red flags, nothing.
Sure,
I was
sure.
like, oh, I should suffer at all times. I'm not worth being happy. I should always be in pain and I should always be sad because I deserve this.
Right, right.
Thankfully, therapy was like, you're weird. It's okay to be
Yeah, yeah.
happy.
Yes.
So me being in this circumstance at a different stage in life
Yes.
was huge for me to go, it's okay for that person to not like me
Right.
because I might not like me, but I'm okay with me. And I've built up to actually being okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Very good.
You
Very
look in
good.
the mirror every morning, you're like, you're a good person. You deserve to be loved. It's all good.
That's right. That's right.
So it's those affirmations. They help.
They do help.
Did that.
So I mean, but that so took a it must have taken extraordinary amount of strength. So we've been called to this venture, found the mentor, had the departure. Now you're in the trials of trying to make it work. And then where is that leading you next?
Well, the trails were the worst part was me trying to, what was terrible was that it was supposed to be a business expense. It was supposed to be a business expense to build the business to do all these private lessons. And there's no version of me that's going to go to Hickson and be like, hey, can I pay you next week? That
Right.
man put more effort into what he's doing than most people put into a single lifetime
Yeah.
of anything.
Uh-huh.
Like their fantasy football league.
Right,
This
right.
guy has broken his body, his spirit. Like everything about him is this thing.
Right.
I'm not going to pay for that.
Right, right.
Are you kidding me? The least I can do is show him the respect of like, there's no version of me. It's like, oh, I'll give you a discount. I will give you extra.
Right, right.
Like, no, sir, man. I made sure that I could pay for this because nobody else was paying for it.
Right.
And so there was a part of me that's like, I got to sell the motorcycle. Like
Yeah.
I've got to work some extra gigs.
Right.
So, hey, do you want to do a private lesson on top of a private lesson, top of a private lesson to help pay for this session with each? And when I'm done with that, I'll come back and teach you exactly what he taught me. So I am double timing. I'm working my ass off so
Right.
that I can pay for this opportunity. So the trials for me was mostly being in a town where I was feeling very welcome by
Right.
the community, not by the people who brought me to the town.
Okay.
So that was an uncomfortable place to
Sure.
be,
Oh, good God. Yeah.
emotionally.
Sure.
So having to deal with that discomfort every day, and like my blood pressure went up. That was weird.
Mhm.
I'm healthy.
Right.
I'm
Right.
very healthy. And I went to the doctor because of the kid, and they said, you got extremely high blood pressure. I was like, what is that?
Right.
I've never had that in my life.
Sure.
So I'm not sleeping. I'm always stressed. I'm checking emails and like when I'm working, there's usually a time when work's done and it's family. Like there was no time. It was like, oh, you're home. Here's 30 emails about why we're upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And my blood pressure went through the roof. So all the trials for me was trying to find a comfortable place to be there. And we were almost going to stay there because of the students,
Right.
because there was a large number of students that wanted to do what I was doing.
Yes. Right.
And when I left that place, they would have none of it.
Yeah.
So they bought mats and they found a space. Like they were asking me to do privates in a barn with
Right.
no air conditioning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's in Arizona. Oh my God, it's hot. So they're suffering for the cause. And I'm thinking like, well, these guys really, really want this. And I kind of owe it to them. I'll do the best I can. The main trials, the trials for me was feeling unaccepted and unwanted and stressed
Yeah.
to an nth degree
Right.
to do what I thought was right. And then overworking and taking as many gigs as I could to be able to pay the man that I think deserves every dime
Yeah.
I've ever given him.
Yeah. So it's a
Because
stripping away of things, it sounds like, right? So you go, you find the mentor, then it turns out, oh, you got to have this massive pivot. You're all the way around the other world. And now, in this departure to your trials, it's taking away like whatever probably was left that gave you a certain sense of like, hey, it's okay because I got a job or have enough money or whatever. And instead threw you into, okay, your hero's adventure now is one of like, I have to survive this. And,
yeah,
I mean, this structure is the structure of every hero movie we ever liked, right? I mean, this is, and it's the structure of everybody's life who's listening to us, whether you recognize it or not. It may be a question of degree, like your call to adventure,
stupid mono, yes.
right? Who knows what it is for the people out there. But okay, so as you work your way through these trials, where do we go from there? Like what?
I think so if I had to have trials, the main trials was like, how do I get to LA? So
Okay,
like I had to take road trips. So as long as trials were going, I had physical trials and it was awesome. So like how do I get from A to B? How
right.
do I pay for A to B?
Yeah,
How do I survive while I'm there? So I'm like living on gas station food. I'm sleeping in a van. I had to sleep on the
yeah,
beach. I had to bathe in the ocean. All
yeah.
of these things are vaguely romantic to me. So I didn't suffer. At
Right.
one point in time, I think the funniest one for me was I visited a friend out there and I drove in a Jeep, and the Jeep is like tiny. I just
Okay.
took out the back seat for my dog. And while I'm there, like I can't afford to pay for a hotel. I can't
Right.
afford to pay for food. Like I'm literally like gas station food.
Hmm.
I think at one point I was visiting friends saying, what's up? I did a private lesson with him. He's teaching in his garage. He's like, hey man, you can stay here if you want. I was like, oh no, I'm cool. I got a hotel. I'm just gonna impose on his family. So I think my favorite part of this journey, this one story was I crawled back into the Jeep and I parked like probably like straight down the strip from where his apartments were over by the bushes. And I slept in the back of the Jeep and I didn't want to get arrested for peeing in a bush.
Right.
So I had to pee in my dog's bowl in the back of the Jeep and I'm wearing the same clothes. I'm in this Jeep with a dog bowl of piss and the morning sun comes up and it's like on the window. And I look up and he's looking at me like, you was sleeping in a Jeep next to a bowl of piss, man. I offered you a bed. I'm like, I don't deserve a bed.
Yeah. Right. Right.
It was, I didn't want to impose on him.
Sure.
So the trials for me were probably self-imposed. But the idea of the travel to the knowledge, every time I
Oh
did
yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had a van that had no air conditioning, and I just took my clothes off and rolled down the windows and drove for 11 hours. I slept on top of it in the desert. It was so cool. My dog came with me.
Yeah.
So I'm sleeping on top of this van in the desert, and there's
Right.
no, like, because there's on the horizon between Vegas and Phoenix ish or somewhere. So Vegas is over here, but like it dips
Yeah.
because the earth is not flat,
Hmm.
and you can't see the light pollution, and you can see a
Yeah.
billion
Yeah. Yeah.
stars.
Yeah.
And I'm laying on top of this thing naked in the desert. It's so hot. And I'm thinking like, this is the greatest moment of my life.
Right.
And I would be missing it if I took some shit job,
Yeah.
like, so my trials were the best part.
Yeah. And I mean,
I love it.
as this plays out
Right.
in the movies, right? I mean, in Batman having to climb up and have this, arduous journey to the teacher, all like this plays out in all the stories of history where the hero is tested. And if you're sleeping in your Jeep naked next to your dog with a bowl of piss, that's a level of testing. That's a trial. That's not typical. But much like anything else, the rewards of whatever is often proportional to the effort it takes to get the rewards. And so as you're working your way through this, do you have any sense of what's next? I mean, are you in the trials purely like, hey, I'm just going to continue to do this until it changes? Or you just,
Right.
because you're a pessimist, so you're like, is this my life from here on in the trials? Or are you thinking there's another a part of the journey after that?
To be fair, I should be dead a million times over. So I'm
Right,
always within the trials at all times. Like I'm in trials right now. Like
right,
literally, there's so many things that I'm trying to deal with to achieve a greater goal. Because
right,
I'm not coasting. I'm
right.
not done.
Yeah,
Like everything I'm doing is like out of spite at this point because I want to do, I blame that schema thing. Everything that I'm trying to do is I want to be the father figure that I, should have had. And that's not putting my father down. My father was amazing. He was a great man who like worked his ass off to take care of the family.
right.
I'm talking about the secondary father figure.
Sure.
So yeah, and that's another thing to talk about. So the secondary father figure idea, the Carl Jung stuff.
Yes.
So yes, let's throw a little bit dork here. So we're already gambling. My father from birth has always been like pure love and caring and taking care of me. And I didn't think I deserved it. So I like left home at 12. Like I'm just a terrible kid. I was a terrible teenager. Awful. They took me to Australia to like put me in an art school and like just put him in a box, make sure he doesn't die, you
Mhm.
know? But then you have that secondary father figure. That secondary father figure for me was jujitsu. So
Oh,
the first real coach was a big letdown for me. And everything I've been doing since then has been like this spiteful act of, I wish this is what I had had when I was doing jujitsu.
right.
And the main thing I wish I had had when I was starting jujitsu was Hickson. Like
Sure.
that should have been what I was taught to begin with. And then I could have done the leg drag. Then I could have done the deli. Then I could have done the fun
Sure.
sport stuff.
Right.
If I had been taught the principles and like,
Yeah.
God forbid, the actual martial art and the discipline and the honor, as opposed to this is the new version of football. And if
Right.
you're not strong enough and fast enough, you're not on the team.
Right. Right.
Like go get your ass on the field, drink a Gatorade and break your bones. No, that's a choice.
Hmm.
The beauty of what Hickson has preserved from his father Elio is a martial art, and
Right.
not just a martial art. It's a view. It's a way of teaching. It's a way of being. It's the most
Right. Yes.
efficient
Yes. Yes.
thing.
Yes. Nice.
There's so much to that. In me, I've got this infinite amount of spite where I want to make sure that gets preserved, whether
Yes.
anyone else likes it or not.
Right.
And Hickson's version is the one that I found worth suffering for.
Right.
You
And
know,
then and
I went through the
I
whole
laugh, Professor Chris, because the juxtaposition of an infinite amount of spite and this beautiful act of like preserving something true and honest. Like that from that impetus is this beautiful thing. And that
I contain
I
multitudes.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. All right. So, but then not to interrupt, but I don't want you to think I'm laughing.
I'm so happy. I mean, to talk about Campbell, Young, and Whitman
I was
in
going to say you
one
threw
pot
Whitman in too. I like that. I like that. Yeah, you had Tyler
because
Durden in here somewhere today. I don't know if that was private or not. Yeah, you're a tough
I
guy to
have
keep up
so
with.
much
I mean,
respect. so much respect for Chuck as an author. Like,
Yeah.
that book
Hmm.
hit me hard as a kid. So this is a wonderful gift. That book was so influential at the right time for me because I saw the movie as a
Sure.
teenager, and then someone handed me the book because I was living in an apartment with them. I was like, dude, the book, it's way better than the movie. I was like, they have books now? You read books? And when I read that, I was like, yeah, dude, I've never commiserated with an author outside of Richard Matheson. Like
Okay.
that was like, it hit me hard and fast.
Yeah.
And then I read all of the books, and then just seeing him in person, talking on podcasts. One of the most heartbreaking things for me ever was them kind of making fun of him when he left the room on Joe Rogan. Like, that guy's weird. I was like, oh, how dare you shit on my boy?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like I got so much respect for that guy and his work. He's he is him, whether you like it or not. He is not a fake plant.
Right.
He's
Right.
not a fake fireplace.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is the ocean.
Yeah. 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 Very
He's
nice.
the ocean, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And I respect the ocean.
Yeah.
So gone off path.
It's
And
okay.
I also spent the time. I have to be somewhere in half an hour.
Okay.
Is it okay if we get through 5 and 6 and we come back and we do another one and we do 7 through 12?
Of course. We do whatever you want. So
Okay.
let's see. We are, tell me where we are.
We're at 5. We're at the approach,
Okay.
facing
Excellent.
your worst fear.
Let's do
So
that.
facing my
Okay.
worst fear, and then 6, the crisis, the darkest.
Okay.
And it's a good one to end on because it's possible death and the rebirth.
Excellent.
So, okay. The facing my worst fear was you have your primary father figure, your secondary father
Yeah.
figures, and tertiary. You know, you've got these leaders
Yeah.
in your life. And I don't know if we should talk about that because we have a bit of time. The idea of it's not just your dad. Well, what about your big brother? Well, what about the army drill sergeant?
That's right.
What about that best friend in high school that was like 3 grades above you? They kind of lead the way. I've had a few of those in my life,
Yeah.
and a lot of them have been super goofy in the long run. Like, man, I had one that I was so proud of. Like, I looked up to him,
Right.
and we both really looked up to the guy that I was working for. And when I ended up going to work for that guy, I called him. I was like, guess who I'm working with?
Right.
He was like, he's living with his mom working at KFC, and he's pissed off at me about being happy. And it was such a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah.
Like, you have these guys that you look up to, or these women that you look up to, or like, I don't know, words, whatever you are not mad about today. You
Right.
have people that you look up to
Sure.
and you kind of emulate to grow as a person. And one of them was this guy. Like, he's smart, he's capable, but he's not in the same lane as me, I found out,
Right.
and I had to let go of something that I really respect and that
Yeah.
is embedded in my neural pathways for life.
Hmm.
It's like Elon Shield. Like, do you enjoy his paintings?
Oh, I'm unfamiliar with Elon Shield. That's a
I was a huge fan of Elon Shield when I was younger. Like, his
okay.
art meant a lot to me. I had four trees framed on my wall when I
Okay.
was like 13. Like, that's how I was weird from day one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that painting. And then come to find later in life that guy like was sexually inappropriate with like younger ladies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. And when you read into the backstory of it, it's different than you think. But I had to view him in a completely different way. It doesn't mean I can't appreciate the art, but the art has changed.
Right.
Does that
Right.
make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Like, it doesn't mean that the art's not beautiful and the art's there and the art had its impact for its time. But now I got too close to the artist. And when you get too close to the artist, you have to take into account the man as well as the art.
Right.
And like, there's some moments in my life where like I had to take the chance to take into account the artist in Hickson. And that was a big, okay, let's see. That was a huge
Yeah.
facing of the worst fear because I had just lost,
Yeah.
I'd say, my tertiary father figure, for lack of a better
Right.
term.
Uh-huh.
Like, I saw him as a friend, like, I enjoyed the work, I enjoy the person, and now the person doesn't like me, and okay, but the work's important. That can happen with Hickson. and I have to take the chance on doing this
Yes.
because everyone is telling me terrible things and saying like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And this guy is saying, don't do it. He's a bad person. Don't do it. I'm like, I'm taking the chance.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a chance. And if I lose this one, I mean, what else have I got to lose?
Right.
You know, like
Right.
you're running out of people to look up to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like you hit a certain point in your life where you don't have to necessarily have somebody leading the way,
Right.
but you have people that you admire, you know,
Right.
and what was amazing for me is that I admire him then and I admire him now.
Yes.
And that
Okay.
was just, oh, my God, I was
So, so the threshold for
so
you, like we come through the trials, and then you have a certain uh, choice. Do you back away from the potential of
yeah,
being disappointed and being heartbroken
yeah,
and all of
yeah.
that, or do you expose yourself to the opportunity for something to be true that you thought was true?
Man, I kept because when I started out, a lot of the guys that are close with Hickson would be like, ask his permission, do this, do that. There was all these peripheral boundaries that like everyone was making up
Right.
and nothing was getting done. Everybody was doing their own thing. And I was like,
Right.
all right, I'm just going to step over a boundary because he's not being very verbal on what he wants.
Right.
And if he doesn't want it, okay.
Right.
Like, it's the worst that'll happen. He tells me to show up.
Right.
He's never done that.
Yeah.
So like, every time that I come in and I come out swinging, like doing this, I'm doing that. When he tells me he's proud of me,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like, huh, okay, because I don't know what the boundaries are in this relationship, and it grows over time because I'm not normal. I don't just go, oh, we're friends now.
Right. Right.
I feel uncomfortable with everyone for like the first 5 years,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm still being me, but I don't feel accepted as me. It's a whole thing with me.
Sure.
But for me to push those boundaries and go like, all right, he can cut ties with me anytime he wants.
Right.
He can just let the ship float away. You know,
Right.
he can have nothing to do with me. He can stop answering the calls. He does not have to have anything to do with me. But every time I call that phone and he answers with a smile on his face, it becomes firmer and firmer in the
Yes.
idea of like, okay, I think I have a friend. Thanks.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's yeah, it's weird for me because I feel like he tolerates me, but I'm always on that pessimistic thing of like, I don't know. Like I've told the story a million times where I'm like, I'm the dog at the back door. Like I didn't grow up with the family. I don't deserve to be there.
Right.
They
Right.
feed me on occasion. They tolerate me. And Driscoll put it perfect. He was like, you're not just a dog, you're a border collie. Like you can do tricks. You're a dog worth keeping around. So fuck you. So
Well, I mean,
I
that's yeah,
feel
that you can't fall in love without the prospect of a broken heart, and so that
that's
yeah,
the
so
beautiful part.
yeah, it
It's
is.
worth it. It's worth the idea of like having the heart broken. The taste of honey is worth it. But cool, man. At least I tried. I
Yeah,
died in the pursuit. I would rather die in battle.
right,
That's
right.
just the way I am. I don't
Yeah,
want to go softly into the night.
no, right,
I
right.
okay, let's fuck it. Let's die.
Yeah, yeah,
And I have different versions of fuck it, let's die because I think a lot.
sure.
So like when I have people like, where is your honor? I'm like, I'm not sure you know what my version of honor is.
Right, right.
I'm not you. I know exactly what I'm worried about and what I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
in my heart.
Right,
And in my heart, I was willing to lose that person because at least I tried,
right.
you know, and I would feel respect for myself for trying, you know,
Yeah,
like it's going to be a bum out and I got to carry that with me for the rest of my life. Every time I look at that painting, I'm going to be a little bit sad, but that
yeah.
sadness is tinged with, it's not regret.
Right, right. Yeah,
That sadness is tinged with like, hey, well, fuck it. I tried.
right, right.
And I would rather be in my grave, like fully used and
Yes.
broken and going, I tried.
Yeah.
You know, I lived with passion.
Well, let's do this. Let me summarize part one of this conversation, and so we'll
Because
have a clean break, and
we're
then
at the
we'll
darkest hour.
we're at the darkest hour. So this is good dramatic pause in that, okay, you have this call to action. Go around the world, disrupt everything, take a chance. You encounter your mentor, but it's in the context of something that is not true. So you encounter something very true, but it's in the context of something that's false at the same time. You recognize the falseness of what you thought you came to do, and you depart from that and you say,
Oh,
no,
I had to slay that dragon.
you had to
I
slay the
had to slay
dragon.
that dragon before I departed.
And when you slay the dragon, you enter into the trials. And here you are naked in the, I-10 in between LA and Phoenix or wherever you were, and yeah, not getting arrested with your dog bowl full of pee. So you're survive the trials, and then you're crossing the threshold and through, hey, here's somebody who I think is a certain type of person, is a certain person, and you're risking heartbreak yet again. And that's where the story is going to pause right here. Is that a fair summary?
I would say the story pauses right now at 6, the darkest hour that possibly dies to be reborn,
There we go.
because I had the opportunity to move back to Sydney and
Okay.
start again.
Okay.
And the idea of me departing from this was huge for me. Like,
Right.
I got to stay. I got to keep training with Hickson. I got to keep training with Hickson. I can't give this up. I can't give this up. I had a choice. Okay, you got to let go, and you got to go and start doing your own thing now.
Yeah. Oh, how
Because
about
it was
that?
originally,
Yeah.
it was originally like, I'm doing this for him, and I wanted to build something for
Yeah.
somebody else for him, because I don't have the money to do that.
Sure.
But I wanted to do the right thing by him. I want to do the right thing by him. But now, okay, you can do the right thing by you, and you can do the right thing by him. So you're going to have to make a big decision right now. And the big decision was like, do we stay or do we go? And if I go, I'm unemployed. I'm not going home to a job.
Sure.
I'm not going home to any form of certain home. I'm not going home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to go on this completely new thing involving this.
Yes.
So that was the darkest
Here we
hour
are
for
at the
me.
darkest hour. All right. End of part one.
Wife.
Love it.
I love it.
Okay, Professor Chris, we are back. And through the magic of editing, we're just going to have this be one continuous conversation. I'm going to do the star swipe. And then we were at the darkest hour where you were asked to make a tough decision. So that's where our story left.
The darkest hour. That's star swipe right away. I'm digging
There
the
we go.
star
That's
swipe.
right.
I hope you fucking use it.
Absolutely.
Just so the audience, just so the audience knows. If I say anything stupid, if I say anything wrong, star swipe.
And then we're
You're
going to
get me
cover it.
out.
Right. Mm-hmm.
This is this is a tricky subject for me, because
Sure.
if I drop any names by accident, like, first, I don't think that they deserve to be named.
Okay.
Like, I don't want them to have any kind of online accolades kind of
That's
thing.
right.
So like, there's people out there that will literally record themselves and put themselves over a video, shitting on the video to get views, to get more people. It's the world we live in now. Like, literally putting things down has become a living.
Yes.
Like, making fun of shit. And some of it's funny. Some of it's really fun. There's some
Yeah.
dudes out there that make some funny content, making fun of other people.
Right.
And that's cool, man. There's this weird line in the sand for me. Like, I'm not going to shit on someone to build myself up.
Right.
It's not a roast. A roast is different. Roast is funny.
That's right.
Dozens is fun.
Yes.
But we're like, this is full. I've had to encounter that with the internet in the past year or
Yes.
so, because I wasn't on the internet until the reward, as you would call it. This is for God. The darkest hour for me to speak about it. I gotta watch my fucking mouth, because if I drop anyone's name, they get some shine. They get some shine. That's all they ever wanted, man.
All right.
And the last thing I'm gonna do is give you shine.
Okay.
Well,
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that was like a 400 triple espresso farmer's breakfast.
I like it.
You know what a farmer's breakfast is?
No.
My wife put me onto it, man. It's mocha pressed coffee with an egg. So
Oh.
you crack an egg, you put the egg in, you put some sugar, and you whisk it, and you pour the
Oh.
coffee in the egg. So I just drank a coffee egg.
Okay.
That shit. So if anybody out there actually, because everybody asks me, like, hey, what book is he reading? What's he doing? I'm drinking coffee egg.
Yeah. The
Get it on
farmer's
your
breakfast. Yeah. Sharpen you right up. Okay.
God bless it, man. Low calorie, high protein,
That's
lots
right.
of caffeine. I'm
Here
down.
we go.
Right on. All right. So here we go. So I was asked to make a tough decision. The tough decision for me, this first tough decision was taking on the job.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure I was very open about this, that I was supposed to go out and build a Hickson Gracie Academy. Stars like maybe it's been a
Yeah.
while. The idea was like, like, this is a guy I really look up to in my feet, you know?
Right.
The guy who's hiring me is someone who I looked up to since I was a kid,
Right.
right? Like this is role models asking me to be a part of this thing. Like, why would I not do
Right.
that? Like, fear of failure is one thing, and I get it. There's a lot of people like, I got mortgage, I got this, I got that, and if I fail, oh, I had nothing. I was fine. I was in this perfect spot where like I have nothing else to lose
Sure.
and everything to gain. And I've kind of been that my whole life. I've always tried to be at the literal bottom of like, I don't know, it's like,
Right.
fucking kill me, you know? And that sounds drastic, but coming from a background of like hardcore abandonment issues and like growing up and being alone and like, well, fuck you, I'll be alone.
Right.
Like I'm fine. Has built this weird monster of social media of like, dude, give a shit.
Right.
I think that's a thing that you need is like complete narcissism or complete nihilism. And I think I'm more nihilistic than narcissist because I don't necessarily like looking in the mirror and I definitely don't like hearing my fucking voice.
Right.
So every time I hear a video go on, I'm like, oh, I hear me enough.
Yeah.
Like I live with this idiot.
But there are other
So
choices with that attitude, right? Because there is memento mori, right? Like, remember
yeah,
we die. And that to me is a version of this. Exactly. Well, there it is, the Stoics, right? Right. And
a friend of mine gave me the
meant,
coin as a gentle reminder that you're gonna die, cunt.
right.
He
But
had it in red
that's a
too. You're gonna die,
similar,
cunt.
yeah, I think that's similar to what you're talking about. And what was it? Steve Jobs, when he got pancreatic cancer, he gave that speech. He said, "Look, you're all dead already. It's just a question of time. And so
Yes.
make your decisions accordingly because it's just a question that you're just walking home. So, on the journey, you better kind of, so nihilism, narcissism, yes, okay, but also stoicism, a sense of the reality that this is a short and finite journey.
Yeah, I like to shit on that a lot because there's always like, and I got a lot of, and they're super sweet people. And when they post screen grabs of meditations, like quotes of this and shit, like yeah, get back to like I get it. It was like a whole phase where everyone was a stoic in an ice bath, and I love shitting on it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's super cool. I had a wonderful moment with Steve Maxwell, if you know who that is. Like he's introduced to Aurelius, but I'd
Okay.
already
Yeah.
read it like 4 times, and I
Okay.
really wasn't listening until he was like, "No, no, no, meditation." I was
Right.
like, "Meditation." So I gave it a little bit extra thought, and I reread it, and I was, "Oh, I was dumb when I read it." You ever done that where you read
Oh
a book when
yeah.
you're young and you go, "Oh God, I'm retarded." You go back
Yes.
like 10 years later and just appreciate the actual book.
Right. Well, that's for me. It's like the Mark Twain comment. Like, my dad was such an idiot when I was 13. By the time I was 18, I was so impressed with how much he learned. So I
I
mean,
know.
books are like that
That's
too, right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's like the river, right? Every time you step in it, it's a different deal.
a completely different deal. So for me, sorry, I got a dog, big dog.
Yeah.
I was asked to make a tough decision because I went over there to do something and it fell through. It fell through because it wasn't given the reverence that it was deserved, or it could have been a lie to begin with, just to get the foot in the door. And there's a lot of uh, duplicitous nature
Okay.
when I got there, because I've got when I went there, I had a couple years of therapy under my belt. And that was huge for me because like I spent a really long time just like in this huddled ball of like, fuck it, let's die. And then I went into a healthy relationship where my new partner was like, I'm going to need you to get some therapy. Can't do all this myself.
Right.
So, and she recommended that I go and see someone. So I had this hint of boundaries and red flags that was always in the periphery the second the plane landed. I'm like, I'm on an adventure and this is cool. And if it fails, it fails. I doubt that this could ever fail because he has the same intentions as me. This
Hmm.
is cool. This is what I want. This is what we want. No, not in the least.
Yeah.
So the big decision for me was like years of staying there just to do the right thing. Like, okay,
Right.
now I'm being paid to be here. I should be doing this. And then it just kept hitting wall after wall after wall of like, no, this is definitely a red flag and I need to start putting up boundaries.
Right.
So I started putting up boundaries. And the second I started showing any backbone and showing boundaries, oh, it got worse.
Okay.
No, 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 no. We need somebody that can just take orders. Like, it's
You
wrong
got
guy.
the wrong guy.
Wrong guy to begin with. I choose my own adventure, right? So, and I understand deep in my heart because I wanted a purpose and I wanted a goal from day one. That was a huge thing for me. If I didn't have a purpose or a goal, the abyss would just swallow me whole every fucking night.
Right.
So if I didn't finish 12 pages of the comic book overnight, depression. Like if I'm not picking apples in Albania, depression.
Right.
Like I need something to keep my mind away from the void of incessant ennui and self-hatred. Like, why do I exist? I don't deserve. Blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
For me, having a set goal was huge. Okay, this is it. This is what we're doing. When I get out there and that set goal, like the goalpost keeps getting moved. Okay, that's not right. All right, I'm going to have to set some boundaries. And the boundaries were goodbye. Free.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
clear.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, I'm done. Like, I don't have to do this.
Was
Because
this
I
an
had this,
epiphany? Did this happen in a moment or was it
it was a
incremental?
phone call. Yeah, I had a phone call because the guy who was running the show had another guy that would go to bat for him. Like he
Mhm.
would never go to bat. He would always avoid every kind of conflict and put somebody in its place. And that person in its place was like the hard man. Well, we're going to need you to do this. I'm like, well, we're going to need you to suck a bag of dicks. So I remember my wife was in the other room while I was having this argument with this guy. And I'm not raising my voice. It's just the way I talk. It's like, at some point he said, you're going to have to stop yelling. I was like, I'm not yelling.
Right. Right.
I'm being firm. And I need you to understand this is the tone of my voice. There's no version of me that's going to buckle to this.
Right.
And at the end, I remember her being very proud of me.
Okay.
Like, because our relationship was kind of still new at the time, only been a couple of years. I was like,
Sure.
oh, sweetie, no, I'm always, it's fine. No, there's no version of me that's going to go like, oh, I guess I should do this. So that was the, asked to make a big, tough decision, like stay here and suck a bag of dicks so you can make a tiny bit of money.
Right.
I'm not there for the money. That was the huge thing. So the big decision for me was, am I willing to risk not being able to financially care for my family?
Right.
That was huge.
Okay.
So what could have got me stuck was my dedication to a roof, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I am in a very lucky place where I chose a partner who is an adult
Right.
and takes care of herself. Like she won a fucking Oscar before she met me.
Yeah.
She's fine. She
Right.
does not need this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she put herself through college. She's doing great. She's going to sing in the opera house in like a week.
Wow.
I mean, sorry. So I put myself in a very good position before I built a family because I made a big decision there. Like, okay, I think this is safe to have a kid because I'm super lucky that I didn't have one by accident.
Right.
And I know that sounds rough. That sounds terrible to a lot of people. And there's no real accident. Sometimes there are, and you live with consequences.
Right. Right.
I've had a lot of accidents and I live with a million consequences. Just because it's not a child doesn't mean I don't understand what that
Sure.
is. So I'm not minimizing it. I definitely am not putting it down.
Okay.
Like shit happens, you have a kid, man. You got a kid.
Yeah.
You got a responsibility that's more important than yourself, period. I was lucky enough to be in a place where I knew while I took this secondary adventure, she could take care of us.
Right.
We'd be okay.
Right.
And the kid's not going to grow up in poverty. So I said, you know what? We're not trapped. Let's start to find an exit. And the exit for us was we were just going to stay there. We were going to stay there, just building.
Yeah.
And we kind of did, but we didn't because I didn't want to invest in the property because we were looking for a place because we're both sitting there at night. It was 1,000 degrees in the desert,
Yes.
you know, and like we're shopping at Walmart.
Right.
Like I don't want to buy my groceries from Fry's. No offense, Fry's. Like it was a whole thing between me and my wife going like, we don't really want to be here, do we? All right, well, let's start looking. So we went out to Boston.
Okay.
We went to Salem. And like, cause she's a witch. She's awesome. So
Okay.
we're going to go to Salem. I'm just going to be like a warlock and shit. So the idea of like living by the ocean in the winter, like I love that. Like maybe we'll start up a place in there, blah, 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 blah. We just started hitting the peripheries trying to find the right thing. The big tough decision for me was to go back to Australia. So
Okay.
she got an offer to go to Australia. We went back to Sydney. And I knew that if we went back to Sydney, like I have nothing. I got no contacts.
Right.
There's no chance. In America, at least I've got contacts,
Right.
you know? In Australia, all I've got is Melbourne. Melbourne, I have an academy. Melbourne, I have the ability to make money off of private lessons to survive.
Right.
Sydney, nothing.
Okay.
So we land in Sydney, we find an apartment, and I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs for probably like, I'd say almost a year.
Right.
So a whole year of me just taking care of my son while she works. So
Right.
I'm the mom dad,
Sure.
and it was great. But I also like I took a hard hit emotionally. Like I'm used to being the guy's like, I'm gonna do this now. Like, no, I'm going to the park.
Right. Right.
We're gonna go and play in the park. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. I gotta change the diapers. And to be fair, that was really good for me.
Yeah.
You know, because I never had a kid before, and I was like a bit moody about it at first. Like, oh man, I don't want to stay at home fucking dad. I got shit to do. I'm gonna do things.
Right.
And then I became a stay at home kind of dad. I mean, it's fucking awful.
So was it, I'm curious about this because like so many of us, whether we want to uh, admit to it or not, there's identity attached to what we're doing. And so someone says, "Who are you?" or you're asking yourself that question, where you're from and what do you do? And maybe, is frequently, and then here you are, you're in a new place, you're in another country, you were you've been busy, busy, busy for so long doing one thing, and now that's not you're not getting up and your day's not organized around what it's been organized for this, and it's something else. So did it reorient your self identity, or did it reveal an identity to you, or was it just like you had to swallow your ego and go, you know what? Or I don't know. I'm just curious what it was like,
All
or all the
three,
above. Yeah, all of it,
all
maybe.
of the above, all of the above. So like reinventing myself.
Yeah.
There's no reinventing myself because like, I had a friend one time that went to therapy and mentioned me. And I remember him telling me about that. Like, he's annoyed that he can't be like me. And
Mhm.
therapist called me something like an authentic man. And I was
Okay.
like, first off, I'm not a man. I am a man child. I'm a little boy in a man body. What he meant was like the ability to just take charge. And like he gave me the whole spiel on it, like
Right.
because he has so many commitments, you know, that he kind of dovetails into, and I don't. I
Right.
don't. Like, oh, you should get the car fixed. You should go fuck yourself. Like, I'll walk. Yeah, like it just I'm easy to make a decision kind of thing. Like, oh, is the my wife when she first met me, we spent the night together, and when I woke up, the car was gone. She's like, oh, what are you gonna do? I was like, I don't know, walk. And she fell in love with me because of that,
Right.
because I don't give a shit. Because I'm slightly retarded and I don't see value in things like that.
Right.
It's this, I don't know what the term was, authentic man or some shit. Me being me has always been me with context. Like it's me working at the porn store.
Right. Right.
It's me fixing chimneys. It's
Right.
me doing dishes.
Right.
It's me helping bounce at bars. Like
Right.
it's still me. Me with a kid was me with a kid.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
that changed me. You
Hmm.
know, that softened me in a way that I never saw coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like me caring,
Right.
that was new. That was huge. And this moment of understanding that my life isn't my life.
Right.
My life, like it's always been a really cool feeling in the background for jujitsu. As like I'm here to help others.
Right.
And that's what makes me not want to die.
Right. Right.
I'm genuinely doing something good, and I think it gives me purpose. I'm sharing knowledge. It's hard to come by. Blah 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 blah. Kid, fuck, but hey, that kid.
Right.
That's the ultimate thing for me. I don't think it's a chemical thing. I think some people say it is, but it wasn't. Like day one, I was like, kid, yeah, I can do this, kid. But it just kind of grew into me where this is the most important thing I think I've ever done. I got a chance to give this kid a good life. And what I mean by that is not like buying him
No,
shit,
I get it. Yeah.
but helping him grow and
Sure.
not let the world do its shit that it did to me
And
psychologically.
and in my mind, like, what we're doing is telling, this story of your life in these certain circumstances as the call to the hero's adventure. And to me, children are a call to the hero's adventure, that if the parent accepts it, the child grows up in safety, because
Yeah,
the psychological commitment to a child in particular is, in my mind, the fundamental need that a kid has. It's the when there's not that psychological commitment, there's that seeking of it. And I find that to be true in other circumstances, in business and friendship and marriage. When someone is truly for you, you know it. And when you talk about authenticity, that's something that, if you're not really for somebody and you're playing the role of, hey, I'm doing this for you, it is an entirely different animal than the experience of, like, no, I'm for you. And
yeah,
children, I think, evoke the how strongly do you have that muscle? Do you have that muscle to do that? And in my mind, this is an
yeah,
extension of, hey, you had the call to adventure, you go to Australia, come back to Australia, go to the Northeast, you're gonna visit Warlock or whatever, Salem was gonna
right.
offer you, which is
Awesome.
terrifically eccentric in its own way, right? You're in these other contexts and you recognize the difference between, I'm not I'm not the guy running the porn star. I'm the worker, the subject and object thing, which is uh means you have an internal locus of control and understanding that's hard to achieve, right? I mean, that so when this child arrives, it sounds like you heed the call to adventure and you were there present, and whatever disruption you experience is lesser than the joy of being with this child. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
The muscle that it activated in me, I had no idea. It was like the diaphragm for
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Like I've never used a diaphragm,
yeah.
dude. I had no idea how big and powerful that muscle can be.
Right,
This kid is he's the benchmark now for the version that I'm trying to be because the resurrection
right,
and the destiny of the reward part, like I've
right.
got no the
Yes,
resurrection and the destiny of the reward part, I think was amplified by having a child.
sure.
Like having this because like you said, like not having when I the in therapy, the first thing that they did was the ideal parenting schema
Yeah,
thing. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's worth your time. Gottman therapy and schema therapy is always worth your time. Except a 40-year-old idiot adopted and physically not having the mother, like apparently
yes,
scientific science, not having the mother near you during after birth,
right,
like causes a natural reaction, like a physical reaction, like I'm a little fucking scared. I don't know
sure,
what to do. I had have an extremely loving family.
right,
Like I had a mom and dad. Like from day one, you're adopted. You're the fucking coolest. We
right.
love you. You're
Yeah,
great. I had no like sad adoption story. My parents are awesome. And we all have rough patches. Everyone has rough patches.
sure.
Like you ask anyone to talk about their parents, like those idiots.
Yeah,
No, dude,
yeah.
that's me right now
I got
trying
five
to do
children who will tell you right now that they're that moron
we're
father of
doing our
mine.
best. My job specifically is to do everything from that ideal parenting schema that I didn't have. Like I want to be there, I want to be present. And we all as kids, like we think like if I'm ever a parent, I'm gonna do this,
Sure.
this, and this. Like, and then when you become a parent, like just watch the TV, fuck, like you're tired. So I'm doing the absolute best that I can to be a good role model and a good father figure. And that compounded into my decision about what I've done with my life
Okay.
because I didn't have to do the social. I don't want to do the social
Right,
media.
right, right.
And in turn, that has become why I exist on social media. It's not an act. It's not a brand.
Right.
I don't want to be there. When Sheila holds the camera up, I'm like, Ariel, I said that.
Yeah.
I got this. I can totally do this because to convince me to do this. All right. So let's backtrack. I got here. And the darkest hour for me was an entire year of
Okay.
unemployment.
Yeah.
But what I did during the unemployment time was everything that I was building for that academy, an entire syllabus of Hickson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, how to
Okay.
teach it, how to present it, what, how do you teach invisible Jiu-Jitsu
Right.
became my passion, not just picking pieces and adding it to my game so I can go and roll with other guys.
Hmm.
No, I'm going to make this as clear and concise as possible. I'm going to put it in order and I'm going to present it to the world so that it doesn't get forgotten and lost.
Right.
So I'm sitting there in Australia, like I'm watching my kid. I'm like, I've got some time. All right. When he takes his nap, I'm going to type the syllabus. When
Right.
he does this, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to do this. And I came out with an entire syllabus.
Okay.
That whole syllabus, like I gave it to Hickson the next time I saw him. I was like, hey, check this out. He was like, thank you. Boom. Everybody hands him something. Like, it's very nice. I'll get to it in 3 years. He's like, just everyone's trying to help. For me, like it was the goal of being able to preserve and share this as clean and as clear as possible
Right.
instead of make a business out of it.
Right.
Right. That's what set me in this direction to where, okay, I can hand this down to my affiliate schools. And I've only got a couple at the time.
Hmm.
You know, I've got like 3 or 4.
Right.
They've been with me from the start. Like this, and the guys back in Arizona, Arizona was so sad because when I was there, I was running an academy and all the students really loved what I was teaching.
Right.
And then when I left, they left with me
Yeah.
because they didn't want to learn the sport. And it wasn't like against the sport.
Right.
Because first off, I need to make this very clear because the internet likes having sides that they choose.
Okay.
Playing the game of jujitsu is very good for you. You're
Right.
supposed to do that so that you get good at doing jujitsu.
Right.
If you don't put parameters on those games, you mix them up and they become useless.
Okay.
That's important. That has to, I'm going to keep saying it until I die.
Okay.
If you're not fucking around and finding out by playing the game, you can't play the game.
Right.
But if you fuck around and find out too much,
Right.
you get punched in the face over here real easy.
Sure.
The whole point of this, the whole point of jujitsu was literally to learn how to defend yourself without having to be the athlete,
Right.
without having to be the sport guy. And now people think that jujitsu has become, it's jujitsu that beats jujitsu. No, heel kick to the face beats a lot of jujitsu,
Right.
a lot. So every time there's that weird space that's empty, heel kick is illegal from the knees in the UFC because it's so fucking real,
Right.
right? So all the things that are illegal are usually our bread and butter, but they're taken away and they've been kind of hidden in a corner. Like there's a lot of schools that still teach it. There's some hardcore schools like, no, I'm just going to eye gouge. Like, yeah, that's my kind of jam.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, over here, no, we're working on headquarters passes to the leg entanglements.
Right. Right.
Okay. If you don't know how to get out of leg locks, you killed yourself. If you don't know how to not get punched in the face, you killed yourself. You're going to have to get over it. The two of you are going to have to make out. You're going to have to go out for a drink. You're going to have to fight club and you're going to have to be friends eventually. So that's why I exist at this point, is to try and explain that sport is awesome.
Right.
You have to have the context, and you have to have the parameters, and you have to stop being a bitch. Self-defense is awesome too, but you don't get to wear shoes on the mats with cargo pants and stab people 30 times.
Right. Right.
Dude, calm down. Find a middle ground between the two of them and stop being an asshole.
Right. Well, but so okay. So to
Yeah.
paraphrase back what I think you just said is that, look, your journey's taking you all around the planet, and then you come to a place, and now it's a place of quiet. There's a year in which, the freneticness of running schools, private lessons, scrapping with, somebody whose vision is misaligned with who you are, figuring out, hey, I came across the world to do this thing, but this isn't the thing I should do. Now you land in this quiet place. And it sounds like in that quietness, you then use that time to refine your relationship to something that, for lack of a better word, is
Yeah.
sacred to you, right? I mean, so you're,
Extremely.
yeah. So in this time, you take your quietness, you have a relationship with your son that you might not have had otherwise had you not had such a large amount of time in the day to do this. But the day, even among parents, has enough time to do other things. And when someone, and all due respect to having a single child, when I remember when I had my first child, I went and I talked to somebody. I'm like, man, I'm so busy and tired and so on and so forth. He's like, well, how many children do you have? I'm like, well, I have one child. And the guy was uproarious.
Shut your neck.
He's like, I got 6 kids under 8. Says, don't tell me how busy you are. That's ridiculous. So in the other space day, you're taking something that's sacred to you. And the notion of a quantum leap, right? Like you have an electron and that electron spinning in its own orbit, and then it has another impulse that comes into it and it disappears for a second. And then it reappears at the next orbit, but it disappears and reappears. And then that is the quantum leap. It's not like incremental. It doesn't move. It stops, disappears,
And now I have the
reappears.
theme song in my head from Quantum Leap.
There you go.
Oh, a mistake.
So you come out of this year having, a new relationship to something you held sacred, and the intent is not to keep it to yourself, but to bring it to other people, is what I hear.
If anything, what happened to me out there made me more of a monster in a good way,
Right.
because my intent was the preservation and the big word edification,
Yes.
the preservation and edification of invisible jujitsu.
Right.
And invisible jujitsu is not a series of moves.
Right.
It is learning how to feel, connect, control the middle. It is a genuine cheat code that has to be taught.
Right.
So when I was there, I was enamored with, I get to do this. Finally, I am teaching this and I am being guided by the instructor in how to do this. And every time I did it, from the corner, I'd be like, I saw this cool move on YouTube. Let's do this.
Right.
Okay, well, that doesn't really fit with what I'm trying to build over here for these people that are really invested. So let's say there's 10 to 20 people that are genuinely invested in this one thing. And then I don't want to do that. Okay, well, I guess we're not doing that. I'll do that. Maybe we'll get somebody else to do that. Okay, we got somebody else to do that. Awesome. I'll continue doing this. Okay,
Was the
done.
acquisition of your own knowledge of invisible jujitsu incremental, and it just like came to you piece by piece, or was it
It
tons of
was
work and then an epiphany? Like I'm curious how it
okay.
presented
Again,
itself to
it,
you.
one, it was one of those twofold things because when I came across Hickson's Jiu-Jitsu was presented to me in a very specific way.
Okay.
And the idea of base and connection on the ground can be referred to as a hip escape or a frame. So if you can build a frame that can bear weight and weight and stuff, I'm getting super technical.
Sure.
You no longer have to use size, strength, and speed. The whole point of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu to begin with was to pick the most efficient things from around and put them together and
Right.
do them in the most efficient way.
Right.
No one knows that, or they refuse to acknowledge it.
Okay.
You got people on the internet that like, well, they just took that from the code of color. Yep. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be people that learn things and go, that's a very smart idea. I think I'm going to agree with that for now.
Right.
That's fucking man. When you start to do these parting lines of like, no, you should have been doing Sambo all along. Oh, you should have been doing Kali. Now I'm going to take the idea from Kali. I'm going to take the idea from Sambo and I'm going to find a middle ground
Right.
and I'm going to make it work this way. That's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was not I stole moves. Like, no, it's the most efficient and smartest thing under
Right.
context.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to do the most efficient and smartest thing. And then there comes in Hickson's idea of invisible jiu-jitsu, which he has been refining his whole life.
Sure.
So instead of being faster and stronger, finding base and using connection, controlling the middle and guiding the person. One might call it Wing Chun. One might call it Jeet Kune Do. One might call it I don't care.
Right.
It's taking the best principles of martial arts and putting them together as one thing and then presenting it to the world and going, here's a martial art. You can use this for fighting or sport or I don't care.
Right.
The concept will always be the same because if you see the way broadly, you see it in everything. You're not supposed to know 5,000 things. You're supposed to know one thing, 5,000 ways.
Right.
I keep saying it. No one's listening. And they argue on the internet about the difference between gi and no gi
Right.
because they have a lot of spare time and not a lot of brain power.
Right.
The important thing that I took away from my time with Hickson, working on this part, because right now I'm working on something completely different with Hickson.
Okay.
That's shh,
Okay.
lots of shush.
Okay. All right.
Star Swipe.
Star Swipe. He said
Lots of
something stupid.
things. No, no, no. It's not something stupid because everybody
Okay.
see it.
All right. All right.
And
Well,
there's
I didn't.
so many people out there like, I am Hickson's right hand man and I know all.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, he's doing his best to do a lot of stuff in the background when you're not paying attention.
Right.
Like he's always working. That man is on the clock,
Right.
right? There's a lot of things happening and there's some really big and cool stuff coming.
Okay.
Yeah. Where I am, finding a way to coalesce all of that information and make it available, it had to be what it is, which is if you don't understand the invisible aspect, there's no point in me showing you the move to attach the invisible aspect.
Right.
I remember showing a very specific escape. And guys that I came up with before I was saying, the
Right.
guys that I were rolling with for decades, because I don't roll, guys that I've been rolling with for decades would write snarky little comments like, how dare that tall poppy stand up so tall? Let's cut him. That would never work on me. I'd take your back. You need to feel why you can't take the back when you do this move. You can't see it.
Right.
Word invisible. Invisible gets thrown around a lot. And it's like, well, he's just stalling. Okay. If you feel what the person does and take advantage of what they do, it's the same thing as playing sticky hands. Yeah. So like Chi Sao, you feel what the guy does and you take advantage of it.
Right.
That's the essence of a martial arts. It's in the fucking title, gentle art.
Right.
We're accumulating all of the most effective things and we're doing it the most efficient way. So for me, the acquisition of all of that knowledge and then the ability to explain those moves through the lens of invisible jiu-jitsu. If I can teach how invisible jiu-jitsu works, I can add whatever you want. Then you can put your parameters. So one of the cool things about Hickson is that he loves the sport. I fucking don't.
Mm-hmm.
Another cool thing about Hickson, I'm an adult and I have a decision. He's an adult and he has a decision. And we don't choose to be friends because not be friends because
Yes. Right.
we've decided on something.
Yes.
Like, no, he doesn't like sport. Okay. Yeah, he likes sport. Okay. Like, oh, you like football? Cool. I like baseball. That's normal. In this world, weird and retarded now because we used to be able to just have opinions, but now
Sure.
your opinions are what you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, the superficiality that is guiding too much attention. So in the darkest hour, you had a choice. The choice lands you in this period of incubation, of silence,
Do I keep going?
of say again.
Yeah. Do I keep going or do I just stop and get a job at
Right, right,
the
yeah.
coffee shop? That
So
was a
coming out
huge
of
thing,
this,
man.
yeah, that must have you were able to stay to your truest self, and then out of that, I mean, your life is clearly about more than one thing, but about this thing, it becomes central in some
King.
way, right? I mean, this isn't just a vocation that comes out of this year, and this is an avocation, right? It's a calling of sorts. And when you come out of it and you bring it out to the world, is it received quickly, or or is or what happens next in this journey?
An avocation. So it's the idea of me pursuing this relentlessly for years was out of spite mostly because when I started, I was thrown into the deep end and taught how to be tough.
Right.
All we did was spar. We were never taught anything. So I was taught backwards. I was taught how to be tough, how to grind, how to just fucking take it. And eventually you could give it. That's great. That's not how everybody learns. That's why not everybody knows this because they went in there, you dinged them up too hard and they said, fuck this shit.
Right.
That's why I agree with Gracie University and the idea of coming in and learning from scratch and then being invited to spar
Hmm.
because you're given training wheels and you don't just keep falling off. Only the rare 1% get back on the bike. Fuck off, dude. This is for everybody.
Right.
The idea of invisible jiu-jitsu is for everyone.
Right.
Now, the sport of jiu-jitsu is not for everyone. Some people have a passion and they really want to pursue that thing. And it gives them a purpose. And they like, I met a high-level competitor the other day who was super cool and I like him. Super
Right.
nice guy. We got along right away.
Yeah.
And he loves sport. And every time I look at his thing, I'm like, look at you and your passion.
Yeah.
I like him. Oh, dude, you don't have to pick a lane and fuck everybody else.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Fuck. for me with this, I have the knowledge presented to me. I've packaged it. I'm ready to go. I want to present it. As I'm sitting there, like kind of taking care of my son and thinking about like, I could literally get a job at a hardware store and I can teach on the side and I could just be happy.
Mhm.
Like I'm cool. I think I did my part. It's there, it's presented, and I can hand this to the next generation. Nope. I ended up going to an academy. So, because I got bored, I went walking in Sydney. I was like, oh, they have a sign that says we do jujitsu. So I went in. I was like, can I do jujitsu? They're like, have you ever done jujitsu before? I'm like, I'm okay. And then I had a role with them, and they asked me to teach.
Right.
And I did that in like 4 or 5 different places. Every time I went in, they were like, what the shit are you doing? Because this is not the
Right.
jujitsu that we know.
Yeah.
And they're very polite about it. So either they try and maul you to death, and they go like, I could get you next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Or they'd be like, can you fucking teach me that thing? What was that? That was really weird. And then I ended up teaching classes.
Right.
As I was teaching classes, at one point I walked down to a really cool place, and it's called Locals in Zetland. Locals in Zetland, Troy and Frank were running the classes, and they were in between instructors, and they were kind of choosing a path. They met me, and I had a role with both of them, and they were like, shit. They're like, hey, do you want to show a class? I'm like, yeah, I'll show a class, but I'm not teaching sport.
Right. Right.
So they let me start teaching in the academy. So I started kind of showing classes, and they throw me a paycheck. And they were super sweet. They're the coolest guys. I cannot recommend going to Locals Zetland enough.
Okay.
They have a head instructor. I think his name is strong, terrible person. I don't know him. I'm sorry, I didn't get to know him, but all of them love him. Therefore, I love him
Okay.
for real. If they like him, I guarantee he's not a prick.
All right.
They got a nice instructor there, kind of running a curriculum and everything. I moved out to the northern beaches. I'm not there. I don't get to see them, but I got a lot of respect for them. And they do sport jujitsu, and they're super. I would recommend going there to anybody.
Okay.
Anyways, I was teaching there. So I would be teaching a class, and I was just teaching the difference between a shrimp and a hip escape, which is the difference between if I was standing, if I have to move really fast, I'm going to be standing specifically. If I don't want to be moved, I'll be moving. I'll be standing specifically. Same thing on the ground.
Right.
If I have to shrink versus have to stay in a frame and move in that frame, I have to explain that because, again, I'm doing this out of spite at this point in my life because I came from shit where it was just fight, fight, fight,
Right.
no nothing, win.
Right.
I didn't want that. I broke my spine. I broke multiple bones. I tore tendons. I had to go to the gym to recover from learning how. I had to learn how to defend myself while learning how to defend myself.
Yeah.
Like that's fucked up, man. I
Right.
went in there to learn how to not get hurt. So I got hurt.
Right.
Fuck that, man. That's why I exist. I exist out of spite at this point. And when that settles down, I'll move on and I'll start a burger stand and my passion lies somewhere. Right now, my passion lies in the idea of I need to convey this so not everybody ends up like,
Well, it sounds like the reception was immediate and positive, though. It seems like as you walked in, that this was not. It was clear.
jujitsu. Jujitsu is not like that. No, there's no positive. There's no, I can fuck them up. No one goes, oh, that's really cool. Students say, oh, that was really cool. Jackasses
Right.
who think that they're the toughest person in the world want to fight all the time. So every time, like every weekend when I was in America, I would have somebody come out from somewhere, oh, so you're that asshole that people keep talking about. I break a thumb, I break a rib, I pull it, I get hurt constantly having to prove that this stuff works.
Right.
I promise it works. We don't have to fight. I remember one time a black belt came in and I said, hey, did you have any questions about Hickson Jiu-Jitsu? No, I just came in to roll. Okay. Do you want to just do the class? No, man, just here to spar. Okay. After sparring for half an hour, can you teach me what you did just then? Like, no, you can come to a class.
Right. Right.
You don't get just to try and kill me
Right.
and then ask questions.
Right.
That's the most fucking Western shit ever, by the way. Oh, it really upsets me. Like, I get it. And I'm well aware. Like, people want to like push the boundaries. Like, I think I can take them. Like, dude, 43. I got 2 broken knees and a broken elbow. Like, fuck you, try. But dude, like I'm at a point where I've got a life and I've got a family and I'm just gonna teach.
Right.
My roll to the death days, they're still not over. But you know jujitsu.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my wife gives me so much shit. I limp home. She's like, "Did you spar again?" Like, yeah. What? I have to. It's my job. Like if I can't protect myself, like I don't have to win. I just have to not die.
Right. 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 Yes. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
that's the goal for me. So no, it was not received well. You would
Okay.
always have somebody going, "This is some invisible horse shit, and I can barambolo you to death." I'm sure you can. You
Right.
go right
But I mean,
for it. That's
the
what it is.
reception was sufficient that they were asking you to teach every place you rolled, right? I mean, and that, so with all of those people, there's always some percentage of assholes, right? So they're inescapable. And they showed up to irritate you and to, uh,
Still here.
then
It's
as
not
with
dead
all
yet.
your broken bones and whatnot. And that was a blessing to me to start at 50. Because at 50, I've been
No, get
humiliated.
an athlete. You have to be good. You have to use technique. And
I've
God
been, yeah,
forbid.
my body had humiliated me to the extent that, I had to just accept my limitations because they were non-negotiable. You can't lift
Mm,
your hands above your head. You can't lift your hands above your head. It is what it is.
just before with one of the athletes that I was just with, like he is technical, is genuinely technical.
Right.
And he can add strength to the technique. And I was making fun of him for it. Like, I was like, "No, you actually use technique." He was like, "I used a bit of strength too." But then we were talking about other high level competitors because I will never drop names for anybody.
Right.
A super duper highest level competitor went to train at their academy and he just knows nothing. He's just fucking monster.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And like he could monster 3 or 4 times and then his gas tank is gone and then they would just technical him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn, dude, if people could just listen to that from a sport guy talking instead
Right.
of the idiot self-defense guy who's
Yeah.
never actually been in a fight in his life. Fuck, man. It's brutal. Like, what was it Will said? I have it written down and it's on my wall. You're always right when you don't know what wrong is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Right.
was the
Right.
most sage-like advice that
Yeah.
came from a guy who looks like he came off of a yacht
Right.
at
Right.
all times. He listens to John Mayer. You're always right when you don't know what wrong is.
Right.
I think that's heavy words to take away. The whole point of jujitsu was to use technique and not to hurt yourself using those
Right. Right.
techniques.
Right.
If you're going to be a competitor using those techniques, you can add the strength and the speed.
Sure.
The jujitsu that is actual jujitsu needs to be preserved and passed down to people that aren't strong and fast
Mhm.
so that they can defend themselves.
Right.
Because I can still use technique against strong and fast, high level
Right.
to
Right.
stay alive. I might not win a fucking medal. Oh my God, but I can get to my night.
Right. Yeah. Without a doubt.
And hate to break it to you, no matter how many chin-ups you can do, you're still a sack of water.
That's
You,
right.
you still
That's right.
die really fucking easy.
Yeah.
So the point of jujitsu was survival,
Right.
efficiency. Like another thing that people forgot about that, like the diet, the breathing,
Yes. Right.
the exercise, the execution, everything was about efficiency and survival. And that's where I came from. I wanted the most efficient way to defend myself because I was smaller and weak, right?
Right. Yeah.
And this is also me before therapy, realizing like I'm 5'11" and strong. Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Right. Right.
I keep thinking I'm like 4 foot tall and
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
no, I'm fine actually. I keep seeing photos of me next to people like fucking big.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
That's
Yeah. You're on
dude,
dysmorphia, right? Like, I
therapy.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
hardcore dysmorphia. I'm like, I look like Frankenstein and I'm 3 foot tall and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
weird life. I wanted to know how to survive and thrive because I felt abandoned at birth.
Right.
Like I got to learn how to take care of myself. I got to learn how to feed myself. I got to learn how to defend myself because nobody coming to take my back. No one's coming to help me. Fuck you. Let's die.
Right.
That's where I came from. And that's what led me to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which is not like that, but it is that. It is that. How am I efficiently breathing? How am I worrying about my diet? Like the whole diet thing, by the way, is the
Yes.
alkaline diet. It's about how
Yes.
you mix foods so that you're not tired because you can fucking fight anytime.
Right.
Everyone forgets that and they think it's a sales pitch. It's the same thing as breathing.
Right.
Well, I already know how to breathe. What are you dumb?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
use your diaphragm. Breathe through your diaphragm, and now you can do exhale pulsations to get that stronger, and you can stay calm under pressure. Dude, this thing is stupid. Oh god, exercise. Am I doing fucking hardcore bench presses, or no? Am I doing joint mobility and body weight?
Right.
I should be able to use exercise to prolong my life, not
Right.
get fucking super jacked, and now I can't bend my elbow.
Right.
Fuck, it was supposed to be this whole thing.
Right.
How do you pronounce the word
Yeah.
holistic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Holistic?
Yeah. Holistic. Right.
Heuristic?
Well, yeah. There's
Fucking
a heuristic, and then there's holistic. So
heuristic.
there's yes.
Heuristic and it's heuristically holistic.
Yes. Very good.
The idea was to be efficient,
Right.
right? That's why Hickson speaks in emojis, just so you know. If you get 300 emojis, if you look close enough, he said something.
Okay. It's a
He didn't just put
hieroglyphic.
buttons. It's awesome. I was hanging shit on it one day, and then I was looking. I was like, no, there's a baby emoji next to a happy face emoji. It's a whole sentence. It's pretty cool. Anyways, the whole idea was the preservation of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu
Sure.
for me. And this is still my fuck you hill I die on, because so many people shit on it now, because a lot of people took it off into the peripheries and made hardcore sport that's not really good at sport, or like hardcore self-defense. It's not really good at self-defense. It just because it has the name on it doesn't mean that's the name.
Right.
I think that might have been the struggle of having 3,000 Gracies, because there's about 2,000 Gracies that are fucking awesome,
Right.
and they're doing their best. And God forbid I said anything bad about a Gracie, because they're all family and they will kill you.
Yeah. Right.
They,
Right. Right.
they might not like each other, but fuck you, talk
Yeah.
shit, get shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not shitting on any Gracie at all.
All
Do
right.
not
Noted.
get fucking ruined with perdition, dude. The idea of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, because that's the term that I put on it. The Valencians do it Jiu-Jitsu, which I love. I love that. I love that they changed the spelling, and it's Jiu-Jitsu, and it's a clear delineation between the two. Not even going down that rabbit hole.
Right.
The idea of preserving Gracie Jiu-Jitsu for what it is my passion, because it's what I wanted from day one, but I got stuck doing reverse De La Riva, and no one told me that's what I was not supposed to do to not get punched in the face.
Right.
That has to be spoken about, right? So that is the call to adventure for me that got me
Yeah.
to
Right.
where I am, full circle to this. And now I've got a son, and the son was the huge catalyst for me to go, I can quit and I can work in a hardware store. Or there's this lady over here that asked if she could film me while I'm doing the difference between a hip escape and a shrimp.
Right.
Look it. Like, it's either do this part-time, like teach once a week and just get old and die and
Right.
never share what I've got,
Yes.
and just hoard it to myself and give it to my special Uchi whatever. And like, no, these are the men who earned it. Like, no, dude, everybody deserves to know this, and I want to give it out as much as I can before it dies, because it will die.
Right.
Right? It's not getting the water the plant deserves.
Yeah.
Right? It's been shoved in a corner. So that lady filming me, that was
So is that the
big
next
decision.
pivot? Is the next pivot in this journey? Is that your ability to
A
communicate,
social media whore.
your ability to communicate, we're going to stay with that, is now amplified beyond who's in the room, in that your
It's the
ability to
resurrection
is the
of
resurrection. Here we
destiny.
go. Yeah. Tell me.
So for me, it was like call to adventure. I had to slay the dragon. The dragon for me, by the way, was cringe, for lack of a better term, because a friend of mine uses that. He's in his 50s. So, fucking Nori. Made me use the word cringe. The idea of, I was always willing to go onto the peripheries because, like, oh, you're going to make fun of me? Like, I've been alone since day one.
Right.
Like, I find my solace in art. I find my solace in this. I'm alone, but I can appreciate this. And this reminds me of the good qualities. And now I get to be around that artist. I really looked up to that artist.
Right.
Like, man, that reminds me of the good qualities in me, which is
Right.
the thing, because you meet your heroes And sometimes it's a bum out because they're
Yes.
not who you thought they were, because you weren't seeing them. You were projecting the
Yes.
things you appreciate in yourself. No one talks about that, man. That's such a bum out, because like when you lose a hero, you didn't lose the hero. You notice the things that you really saw in that person that you saw in yourself. Like, that's what I really like about me, you know? And I don't think enough people know that.
That's
When you look
interesting.
at someone and go like, oh, dude, that's really cool. I really appreciate that about that person. That's why I'm such a fan.
Right.
That's because you saw a reflection of you. And then when you meet that person and they're not the full reflection, you can't you can't diminish it. You can't put it away.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not all me. That's its own thing.
Right.
Its own thing is its own thing, and I have to appreciate the parallels. And the
Right.
parallels are there. But you should walk away and be like, all right, I really like that part of me. That part of me I like. I don't like that part. And I'm glad that's not a part of it.
Right. Right.
Because I remember being around that person and them comparing me to a guy I really hate. Like, he was just horrible.
Okay.
I met somebody we worked with. He's like, you're going to love him. He's exactly like you. And I met him. He's an awful, awful person, just shitty, shitty person.
Right.
And then like the next day, I was like, did you like him? He's exactly like you. I'm like, if that's exactly like me, I need to take a moment to myself.
Right. Right.
So I think he saw bits of me in that person, like the
Sure.
ability to hold my shoulders back and say, no, thanks.
Right. Right.
Like, that's the thing. But just, no, I don't want to be that person at all. That's not a
Yeah.
good person.
Well, yeah, and it seems it's probably in a similar manner. Like that person was probably plucking certain things out of you, and then that, making
Mhm.
that identification, like that's all you are, and plucked out
I
of.
know
Yeah. Well,
it's
so
heartbreaking.
yeah.
So it's not heartbreaking because like I know he like, because it's one of those things where like you hear things. It's a very small official. Like, he said this about you. I'm like, I don't know if he said that about me, but it does sound like he said that. It, you
So
know,
did
like,
Hickson
he doesn't
expand?
like me.
Right.
Okay.
Was when in your relationship, was did it go the other way with Hickson, that you saw him in a certain sphere, but he turns
I
out to be
know, and I get to
greater?
see more. I
Yeah.
know that was the real big worry. I remember talking about that last time, because with this person, meeting them, like, I saw all the good things. He's not a bad person, and
Right.
I will never diminish him to anybody who's a fan. The same as Egon Shield. I appreciate his artwork. I don't have it hanging on the walls.
Right. Right.
All right. Same as this guy. I appreciate the artwork. I'm not hanging that on the wall,
Yeah, I
man.
get it. Yeah.
I'm good. I've got my time and I've got my thing, and I can let that go. And you should go and appreciate that, because you don't have to be around.
Right. Right.
Take the and you can have the reflection. And I wanna do something positive with this shitty outcome, instead of be like, "Fuck that guy. Nobody else should like that guy."
Right. Right.
Oh, dude, you should totally like that guy. I got a lot out of liking that guy, you know? And it's cool. I think that's a step in me being an adult, because one of the representatives for the path I've chosen hates me, and he sent me this long thing like, "You fucking piece of shit.
Oh my
How
goodness.
dare you be on the internet like this?" And I was like, I don't know what's upsetting you, but I don't think it's me.
Yeah.
I
Right.
heard you
Yes.
sending like
Right.
a
Right.
very nice note, like, dude, I'm not gonna fight you like verbally, because
Right.
I'll fight, but like, because at the end of it, he was, we will talk about this in person. I'm like, okay.
Right. Right.
Dude,
Right.
we've been in so many fucking fights. It's not even funny at this point. Like, I will break your thumbs. Okay.
Wow.
Fuck.
Good
It's
lord.
just a whole thing. No, that guy didn't say that. Another guy said,
Oh.
"No, I'm not to break my thumbs." It's a fucking shitty job. Just so you know, everybody wants to prove that they killed you at all times. Eventually you will, because you're going to get old and you can't defend forever. And I'm just going to shoot.
Right. Yeah. But so okay.
Just going to stab you.
So we'll go back to this woman who wants to film you, because this now becomes, in your journey, this is the next pivot. And what is that? What does that mean? So that you now have this vehicle with your cringy,
The reward.
yeah. Let's get to the reward.
The destiny and reward. I
Yes.
think it's the last. And then the
Okay. Well,
resurrection is one thing right now.
yeah.
So the destiny and reward, for me, I had to let go of that, because I got there by being alone and saying, I don't
Yeah.
need your approval. I don't need your approval. I don't need your approval. And
Right.
then I got there to the one, two, three people that I wanted their approval.
Mhm.
And I didn't get that approval. And I'm not dead.
Right.
And that was a huge thing for me. That was the reward for me. It was not just the knowledge. The reward for me was going like, I don't have to live up to anyone's standards outside of myself.
Yeah.
And I've always been like that, but
Right.
this was an even bigger one. Like, this is my childhood hero
Right.
that doesn't like me now.
Yeah.
And I'm still feeling pretty good about me.
Yeah.
Like I felt really bad for a long time. Like, oh, dude, if he doesn't like me, what's wrong with me? That's not right. No, that's a thing on his end, you know? And that was a huge moment for me to go like, okay, well, it's just a mirror. And dude, so many long car rides in silence thinking about this, like, fuck did I do wrong? I just
Right.
followed my bliss and I followed my passion and I did what I thought was right. And that can be like, if I said those words again, I can go like 6 times back in my life. I followed my bliss. I did what I thought was right. Turned out bad, but something good happened.
Yeah.
Hero's journey.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I
Yes.
just keep redoing the hero's journey.
Right.
So this version of it was going out there and realizing I don't need anyone's approval at all
Hmm.
to do what I'm doing. And me eggshell walking around and worrying about upsetting other people by doing what I'm doing is I'm doing a disservice to the community by not sharing my knowledge.
Right.
I'm sorry that how I share it isn't the way you like,
Right.
but that seems to be a personal problem on your part.
Yes. Yes.
Like I think you should probably go to therapy.
Yes. Right.
Me accidentally gaining internet fame, which is not real, just so you know. It's so weird. Nothing happens in my life. It's that box over there that tells me things are happening. I'm at the beach with my kid. I
Right.
got people threatening to murder me. Like I got people saying, like, oh, I moved there and train with you. Neither of them happened.
Right. Right.
Like either end of the spectrum is still just in a little box where people just exist on the toilet.
Right. Right.
Dude, I'm at the beach having a burger.
Right. Right. But
Life is
okay, I
great.
mean, in this journey, then this opens up a vehicle that is you're sharing knowledge
You're sharing.
and you're look, we all have economic responsibilities. So now you're constructing a different relationship to the world that also allows for you to be at the beach because you're instructing people, I presume, at some in
No, I
person.
was at the beach when I was 4.
Okay.
Dude,
No, you're not
Captain
at the
Ron.
beach now.
There's a version of me that wasn't doing that.
Right, right,
Right. Lloyd Dean came down here. I was hanging out with him. He's like, what's next? What are you going to do? I was like, I don't know, Captain Ron. He got the reference. So I was like, I could just go onto a boat and fuck off into the sun. This is my battle right now.
Okay,
My
tell me.
battle before that was like selling anal nitrate. My battle before that was taking care of somebody who was like physically and mentally disabled. Like my
Right,
battle before that. My battles will be my battles.
right,
My battle right now, my battle until I'm going to preserve the art of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, specifically Hickson Gracie's view of it. I'm going to share as much as I can before I am dead.
right,
And everyone that I am in the periphery of, I'm dragging with me.
right,
I want to do the literal opposite of what everyone has done so far, which is like hide it and squirrel it away
right,
and refuse to share it. And that like put up these fake boundaries of like, you don't deserve this.
right,
You have
right,
to die to get this. Like, I want everyone to understand jujitsu is for everyone and you can chill the fuck out.
right,
You can go and be a warrior or you can go and be a soccer mom. You still deserve to have this knowledge and you deserve to be treated well.
right,
I want to make sure that I preserve and share this. So being on a platform that's called Instagram right now, and I think I'm on TikTok and YouTube. And just so you know, there's a difference between the comments on every platform.
I'm sure.
It's amazing. Holy crap. Like YouTube is like, oh my God, you're amazing. Thank you so much, which is not what I saw coming.
Right.
Instagram, I think has been culled because the woman who runs it is like, oh God, you're an asshole. And like deletes them.
Okay.
Like if they say too many shitty things, she's like, oh, we'll leave in half of the shitty people. So we get algorithm run
Okay.
through.
Okay.
It's fucking wild. And then I don't know TikTok. I don't touch that thing. It's too young for me.
Right.
Me allowing myself to be cringe. Me allowing myself to go, okay, well, if he hates me, what have I got to lose? I don't hate me.
Right. Right.
I've got enough therapy under my belt to realize I'm not Frankenstein. I'm fine. I'm okay. I have this knowledge and I have the ability to present this knowledge, which is, it wasn't just like that. I went to school. I went to Gracie University. That's a real thing. And I actually enjoyed it.
Right.
I was taught how to teach
Yes.
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And at the end of it, one of the coolest things that I ever learned there was like, okay, you're going to have to find some stage presence and you'll find your own voice by
Yes.
imitating this voice.
Yeah.
And I remember being taught that in close quarter combat. Like 2 lifetimes ago, I was doing close quarter combat and learning how to clear houses.
Okay.
And at some point, they were talking about if you don't have the balls to do it, I want you to pretend to be somebody else that
Yeah.
has the balls to do it until you grow a set of balls. And I was like, I can,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I can pretend to be tough. And then pretending to be tough, all of a sudden one day, you're like, I've got a big set of balls. Get fucked.
Right. Right.
Like, grow into the character. So for me, teaching Gracie University, it was like there's a script, imitate your favorite instructors until you find your voice.
Right.
And unfortunately, my voice is my voice.
Right.
So there's no, like, I'm not pretending. It just worked really well. And the students like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sorry if you don't like me, the students like me and they like not being like, fuck, the juxtaposition of the cranial shit. Like, dude, put your foot there.
Right.
And
Right.
some people can take a joke. Some people can't.
Right.
The big reward for me and the resurrection for me was you. Social media opened a door to an academy that no one knew existed.
Yeah.
So if I was wandering the streets and I walked into Hickson's academy and I was raised with Hickson's Jiu-Jitsu, that's amazing. There's people that don't know Hickson's Jiu-Jitsu. They just know this name that floats around the internet where people are like, well, he's the GOAT, or fuck that guy, I'd kill him. He would be a purple belt if I fucked his mom. There's just two versions.
Right.
And
Right.
you've never experienced him as a man and you've never experienced his art.
Right.
If you walked in and you didn't know any better, you thought that that was Jiu-Jitsu. If you spent a decade doing tornado guards and being kneed in the face by fucking idiots that have never been taught Jiu-Jitsu,
Right.
and you stumble onto that, that is like a holy grail moment for a lot of people. And if I get to be a holy grail moment, God, I am a golden god. If I get to present Hickson's Jiu-Jitsu to the public and people scroll and go like, oh, so I don't have to go upside down? Oh, and they have that moment that I had when I learned a hip escape from Jason Robic. Jason Robic showed me how to, I don't think Jason likes me this way. The idea of that one thing changed my view of everything. And then Hickson compounded on top of that. And
Right.
then he genuinely cares about me as a person.
Yeah.
It was just perfect culmination of like, I'm going to do what's right by him. And that's what's right by me. And if these guys don't have his back, fuck these guys. I got your back. If that means I got to go work in a hardware store and teach you shit, done. I have the option of not having to do that. Social media gave me a very specific platform where I have the ability to share and preserve and resonate with other people that wanted this
Yes.
instead of that. And there's nothing wrong with the two of them, and they have to learn how to fucking love each other eventually. But there's a lot of people that are being pushed away from it
Right.
because of the physical attributes that are needed to achieve the game.
Sure.
So
Right.
as long as I can convey that, man, I've done my justice. And I'm in the middle of the resurrection part because
Yes.
I'm spending a lot more time with a lot of higher level, not, let's say, historians of
Yes.
the martial arts.
Right.
Not just, I fucking roll every Saturday. What? All right. These are guys that genuinely care about this art and they want to preserve it. And I'm in the room with them. Even though I'm this idiot, they see the passion.
Yeah.
I got a wonderful message from one of them saying like, yeah, man, you might swear a lot, but you're saying the same words as me.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
Like, we're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
You're just a little bit more crass.
Yes.
And I respect that so much, man.
Yeah, they're hearing you. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
there's a certain group of people are, hearing you inversely, they're hearing whatever. And then there are other people hearing what you're trying to say to them. And it's always like that, right? I mean, there- there's always a group of people who are your people and then a group of people who are not. And
And I know if the
sometimes,
flag let me.
right? So in your hero's journey, which has been cyclical, you've had several hero's journeys, you got your call to adventure has happened over and over again. And
Still, the corner store was the best.
the fourth story was hard to beat that as a story without a doubt. But here we go. You're at your current resurrection, which will lead to some other. It'll be other calls. You don't feel young, but you're man, and you got lots of stuff. You got lots of
Not the
stuff
years, it's
ahead.
the mileage.
Yeah, oh, amen. It's wife says I look terrific for 95s, so she's
Great.
um so okay. So does that bring us current? Is that where we are at the moment? We're in a current reward resurrection and
Port
you were
resurrection.
yeah, how nice.
So I'm waiting for the next one. The next one, I've already been called to an adventure.
Okay.
So this last adventure has been the Instagram adventure,
Right.
which is cool. And I had no idea how much that would affect my life in a good way.
Right.
Because it's not about, oh man, I got 1,000 likes. No, this is leading people to what's called a funnel, and the funnel takes them to the content, and the content is
Yes.
sold. And that's how I make my living now.
Yes.
People don't understand that this is like, I just want to be loved. Like, no, I wanted to love me. That's the thing I wanted.
Right.
I'm good. I got me back. I'm fine. The idea of people hitting like is like a dopamine thing.
Right.
So
Right.
like, cool. That's not my jam. I don't want that. The external validation has never been my thing. It's always been in here and in
Sure.
here.
Right.
If I don't have that going on, I don't care what's happening.
Right.
The Instagram thing has been this wonderful thing that the BJJ project kind of jumped on because I fucking blew up on that thing like a hemorrhoid.
Hmm.
And Sheila had a meeting with the BJJ project. The BJJ project said, let's start filming this content and start presenting it to the world. Here's an idea of what we're going to do. I was like, you tell me, man, I'm the product. So when people ask me things about it, I'm not making a joke. Like I'm the product. I don't organize anything. I don't know what the suitcase is. Terrible salesman. I'm not a salesman.
Right. Right.
I'm the thing they're selling.
Right.
So I like people send me wonderful messages like, should I get the suitcase or should I get the thing? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with my hands. They found a way to present my knowledge, and my knowledge is being kind of pushed out, and it's an opinion,
Right.
and you can take it or leave it. And I love when people get pissed off because of what I show,
Right. Right.
because it's even better than this is the greatest thing. This is all I've ever wanted. And then like one person has like a book of a comment about it. This is why Gracie die. That's called engagement.
Right. Right.
The more you engage with me, the more people see things.
Right.
So when you make a stitch, I didn't know because the first time I got stitched, I was like, what did I do wrong? Should I not do things? Am I upsetting people?
Right.
You're like, no, that's a good thing. Like, how is he making fun of me a good thing? It's like, because more people come and look at you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So enragement causes so there's people that literally go online to piss people off. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this
That
is a whole new world for me.
sure.
I made moral parameters. I made boundaries for myself. I will not diminish someone else's work. So I'm not gonna put myself over, like video myself and put it over somebody and shit on their shit. I
Right.
won't do that. If I accidentally make fun of someone's content and I find out, I'll have it deleted. I've
Mhm.
done that. There was one that got like super viral. He was like, "This is what he thinks of your thing," and they're tagging the guy. I was like, "Oh, delete that. I don't want
Yeah.
to shit on that guy's hard work."
Right. Right.
Like, oh, that's a very easy counter. Hold the back of the neck and stand up. Like, you ruined your thing. Delete. I'm not going to shit on other people to bring myself higher. And everyone who's in the same vicinity of me gets dragged up with.
Right. Right.
So, like, if you ever see me share something, I genuinely care about what I'm sharing.
Hmm.
Like, if you're doing the right thing in my eyes and you're being a good person, I will share your shit.
Right. Right.
Right? Am I making anything off of that? No,
Right.
I don't want to. I'm going to do everything I can to help anybody who is actually trying to be a good person and share.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
So
my moral parameter.
yeah, that's it. No, I appreciate that. And what I mean, effectively, I'm hearing is that in something that might be uncomfortable, you allowed for the discomfort as a way to winnow out, like there is some tribe out there that is genuinely looking for what you're teaching. And in
There
that,
is. I'm so
enduring it,
surprised.
yeah, right. I mean, and then so your
Mm,
intent in that year of refine, you took that year of silence, in a sense, the quiet time. You look to bring this, and now you found a vehicle, and it seems like the universe has aligned to bring you the people you need in order to
mm,
make it happen. Because as you say, this doesn't happen unless you
mm.
have salespeople, unless you have
Yeah.
people who are creating the content in a way that it works. there's a group of people that you need to accomplish what you intended, which means that,
Inter- interdependence is huge with all of this.
yeah,
Like how would I be doing this without Hickson,
right,
for
right.
one?
Yes,
Like,
yes, yes.
and how was he doing that without Elliot, without Holes,
Right, right, right,
without
right.
etc. So we all, it's like that one big mushroom,
Sure.
right? Northern exposure. We're all one thing,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. I might not like you, you might not like me, but we're still the same thing.
Right,
So
right.
interdependence goes a long way, especially when it comes to work ethic.
Sure.
Like I don't know how to post things. Sheila's very good at posting things.
Right, right.
Sheila doesn't know how to do the Kimura. Like
That's right. Yeah.
we found a way to. I was
Yes.
almost about to do that with Sheila. That's not right. We found a way to harness each other's energy, right?
Yes.
And for a positive thing. I don't want to go out because people think that I'm just shitting on sport. Like I'm going. She made a comment about it, like a brand thing. Like you have to have an enemy to have a brand. I was like, I don't have an enemy. I just don't like that thing.
Right.
Like, it doesn't mean that I don't like, it's okay. I play the game of jujitsu every day. That's how you get good at it. Like, you don't get to just do choreographed moves.
Right, right.
Hickson's very big on that. Like, you'll never get a belt from just showing up for the self defense. You have to go out and be in the shit. You got to suffer. That's what gets you your belts.
Right.
And just because I don't show videos of me rolling around sweaty, I'm rolling around sweaty. I'm constantly injured. Like, that's how you get good. Knowing what to post to gain momentum
Sure.
is a thing.
Yeah, it's a
So
skill.
like it's a skill. So I'm not in charge of that. So do you see Sheila down there, like video of me like in the corner like, after sparring, like slowly dying? No. She shares content of me clearly defining how to do a thing and why it
Right.
exists. And
Yeah.
that's why people are like, I've never had anyone explain things to me.
Yeah.
That's why I got big, is because I actually explain shit and not just like, I'm the best at fucking doing.
Right.
All right,
And
teach me how to do it. I can't.
yes. Right. And that I guess, what I'm hearing is this thing that's taken you back and forth across the world, that's required you to kind of put your energy into things that you thought were going to be okay and then be disappointed, not give up, persist, has led
Yeah.
to this interdependent like configuration of the right people who are bringing something important that you see out to the world. So that's
Yep. We got an even
Professor.
bigger one now.
Okay, tell me.
Dude, having the interdependence between specific instructors working with other people to build
Nice.
something way bigger than themselves.
Okay.
So this goes all the way back to that very first version of this journey. Like, we're
Yeah.
going to do something bigger than us.
Right.
Apparently we're not. Apparently we're not. I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself. I find the right people. We're going to do something bigger than us.
Yes. Yes.
It's happening, and it's happening even bigger than back there. It was like, we're going to build a Hickson Gracie Academy. Okay. We don't. Okay. We're going to do something even bigger.
Right.
Because she's like this perpetual, like, spite of like, no, God damn it. This is happening. I'm going to do everything in my power to make this happen because one, he deserves it.
Mhm.
Two, the world deserves it. Three, I've got enough people that have run this up the flagpole and we're all sitting in the right spots
Right.
and we're doing the right things and we're progressing towards a common goal that is not literally just us
Right.
going like, I'm important. Dude, yeah, you're important. We're all important. We should be working together. Like, this isn't all just Hickson either. This is jujitsu.
Right.
And that's amazing to me that some people can't see that. Like, I'm on the podium. Okay, you're on the podium. What about that 7-year-old over there? What's going to happen with that one? Is that one going to be slamming his chest? Like, I'm on the podium. Where are they going to be in like school, not being a dick?
Right. Right.
I
Yeah.
would rather have that kid know how to program a computer and how to ride a horse
Right.
than
Right.
slap in the chest because they broke another kid's leg. I think there's something more important here.
Yeah, indeed.
I want to
So,
make sure that
is
we can
this thing that
preserve.
you're talking about the BJJ project? I mean, is that what we're talking about here? Is that? Oh, is this something new?
That's one of the irons in the fire.
Okay, so
Dude, the
this is a
BJJ
this
project,
is okay. Tell me.
I can't. Star Swim.
Oh, okay,
So
okay, okay.
of
There's things
there's a
coming.
lot of
We need to pay
things.
attention.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm
Okay,
working on. I'm always doing things. I'm not necessarily sitting at the beach. I just know how to find a balance in my life.
right,
Like, there's no version of me that's not eating an elephant.
right,
There's always multiple elephants, and I'm taking a bite every day. Like, notebooks upon notebooks upon, I've got to be here at 11, here at 12. I know
Right.
what I'm doing with my existence right now.
Yes.
Right. And when I achieve that goal, well, I'll pick the next goal. And it's less about pushing back the ennui now. And
Right.
it's more about, I know what I'm leaving behind because I have a kid and I need to leave something behind. Right. I want to do something good. I don't want to be remembered because you're
Right.
not
Right.
remembered, but your effort is amplified over time. It's like
Yes.
a butterfly. So if you just go out there and don't be a cunt today, good job.
Right.
That was as hard as that had to be for a day.
Yes.
So I'm doing the best I can with what I got while I got it. And hopefully I can lead by example so that people don't sit around just shitting on things all the time and they go out and achieve something that helps other people more.
All right.
Right. I'm just going to lead by example. And this next quest, Star Swipe, we could do another one when it gets
I was going to
announced.
say, so this is the break. This is where we say the hero's journey as it stands today. And I'm going to ask that as it continues to unfold, you come back and you talk to me more
See
about it.
you in December.
All right, December we
So I've got a
do.
few things to talk about for
Okay.
December. What is it now? It's October.
Yeah.
Uh, November. I'm going to go over and share the art in the Philippines.
Okay.
So I just get to. Oh, I'm going to do a thing with the ecological guy. Did you ever see that?
No.
There was like a 3-hour podcast for an ecological instructor. His name is Bren. He invited me on to discuss what ecological training is, learning
Okay.
dynamics and shit. It was 3 hours of him using really big words and me going positional sparring. It's great because neither of us hate each other.
Right.
It's
Right.
again when I was complaining about between sport and self-defense, it's how to teach. And people are like, I don't like it. I love it. I hate you. Go, well, dude, this
Right.
world's getting stupid. This world is stupid to begin with. It's getting even stupider. What this guy did was he tried to explain it to me and then I dumbed it down. He tried to explain it to me and then I dumbed it down. And then we
Okay.
came to the agreement. It's still a long-winded thing, but it's how to teach jujitsu, a better way of teaching it. And it turns out that's what we've been doing all along,
Okay.
but with bigger words, because there's a lot of schools that don't teach like that. Anyways, just listen to the podcast.
I
It's
will.
3 hours of us back and forthing, but we talked about, I'll teach the same class as you and we teach it in 2 separate ways and we come back and we
Oh,
share knowledge, we share ideas.
that's awesome.
That's what sparring is, just so the internet knows. So when we roll and I don't want to get punched in the face while you're trying to do combat rock or whatever, like,
Right.
I'm fine. I'm practicing what I'm practicing. So we can still train together. I want to take the best I can from ecological learning dynamics. And I'm assuming he wants to take the best he can from old man jujitsu. There's no term for it. There actually is. There's a technical term for the way I was taught with presenting in slices and then building on
Okay.
yeah. So I want to talk to him about teaching etiquette. We're going to meet in Canada somewhere and we're
Okay.
going to do a seminar where I teach a thing and he teaches a thing. And I'm pretty sure we just make out afterwards. I don't know.
It's not.
Fun.
It's
We're
not.
going to be,
Is it Rob Burnick?
no, his name's
No.
Bren.
Okay.
Bren. I'm a terrible, I don't know my friend's names. Bren, I think.
Okay. All
Super
right.
cool guy. I'll send you a podcast. I like
Yes.
him quite a bit.
I, yeah. I'm gonna watch it. All right.
It's 3 hours. Oh my
3
God.
hours. I'm gonna watch it at one
Because we
point.
couldn't, just can't do it in one. I
All
go
right,
too long, man.
Professor. Then we will see you again in December, and we'll do some more of this.
I'm looking